Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information Man
Tell
Show.
the truth. Tell the truth.
Do you want truth?
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
If you don't want truth, this is not the channel for you.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Yes. Truth.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
In the White House, I'm not gonna say his name. Jack Lake Creatures.
Tell the truth.
If you want truth,
Tell the truth.
the Information Show is the place for you. Truth.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make
We're
sure
trying to examine, open up one's mind, and understand the shit that's happening in American society and around the world. Information Man Show.
Information is power.
We got to ring the bell to wake the world up.
Information is
Tell the truth.
power.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Okay, everybody. This is the Information Man Speaks podcast, our Information Man Show. What's up, everybody? I'm glad that you all are here. I've been doing so much work on the second channel that I'm making mistakes on the first channel by saying Information Man Speaks podcast. No, it's the Information Man Show. That's a that's a little bit of a boo-boo on my part. I mean, you know. Sorry about the boo-boo, everybody. So welcome to the Information Man Show. And matter of fact, I might as well take advantage of this while I'm at it. Definitely check out the Information Man Speaks podcast. I go late night shows over there, get into heavy topics over there. We do it radio live style, have people call in, bring people on the panel, give you a variety of different thumbnails to look at while we're doing the show. So come on over there and subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. But as of right now, today is going to be a dynamic show because I've got a dear brother to me. We went to college together. He is a fraternity brother of mine by the name of Randy Wilson. Brother is very dynamic. He's just going to break it down because as the thumbnail and as the show is pertaining to is about men's health, men's fulfillment. Where are we at as men in this society? We deal with stress. We deal with responsibilities to raise our family, our children. We deal with so much in this society. And I have to say, definitely as black men, we deal with a heavy amount of burden and stress. And we need to understand as men, are you fulfilled? You can have cars, you can have big house, you can have jewelry, you can have all the luxuries of life. And if you're a single man, you can have all the women you want, all the pleasure that you want. But does it mean any damn thing if you do not have full fulfillment as a man? And so I want to go ahead and examine that with my dear brother. From his perspective, from our perspective, from your perspective in the chat room. We got Tiffany, who has just super chatted me. I've got to put her on the screen right now to see what she said. I appreciate you being over here, sister. I really appreciate you being over here and everybody who's over here right now. She says, hello, host and Information Man Show mods. Let me enlarge that a little bit more, that a little bit more. So I can, see it a little bit better. Hello, host, Information Man Show, mods, and chat. Blessing to everyone. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
I appreciate the $5 super chat from you. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat room right now. Let me go ahead and say that I see Doc. I see Dr. Ma in there. Sonia Sees, who's been with me for a long time. Little Rock 2517. Tiffany, of course, as I said before, the Alpha Grill is in the house. What's going on with you? Self-care boss has just come in the house. Fashion of Life has come in the house. I really appreciate all of you that are coming in the house. This is going to be a great discussion. Now, I have to be honest, this will be a discussion to the ladies that are in the chat room. This will be a discussion that will be centered around men, our issues, our concerns, the things that we go through, the things that we need to overcome. But I'm pretty much going to let my man Randy Wilson break it all down and start us off. So with that said, what I want to do is bring my brother in as soon as possible so that we can get into this discussion. But I see a lot of people coming in. H and H is in the house. Cherry Gills is in the house. I'm very excited to see everyone coming over. And wow, this is fantastic. So what I'm going to do right now is bring my brother in. I'm going to give him the most ultimate respect by giving him a clap to start the show off. Here we go, right here. All right. And here we go. Okay, brother.
Thank you, information man. That was awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Now, brother Randy, we go way back. We both were in college together. We both are members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, founded in 1906 at Cornell University by 7 prestigious black men. And we are an organization that has a long history of engaging in the community, sending men on to college, engaging young black males in particular in terms of manhood, mentorship, all those different things, getting involved in community programs and partnering with other organizations that are doing great things in the community, like the food banks, Big Sisters and Big Brothers program. So we've had our hands in all these different kind of programs as an organization and also as a brotherhood. And so I want to tell you right now, thank you for coming on board. I was looking forward to this since we first started talking. Yeah. And let's introduce, first of all, how are you doing today? First of all.
Well, brother, first of all, I just want to say I'm honored. I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to, be a part of the effort to bring people together and discuss and talk about things. Sometimes, we talk about things. It's not always comfortable, but to have the courage to bring these kind of things out, man, I just have a lot of respect for you and what you do and your platform. So I'm honored to be here. And so thank you. And I'm doing good, man. Obviously there's been a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world lately, but it's all about mindset. And my mindset is that I look to the future and see if we can find ways to elevate. And there's plenty of opportunity to elevate out there if we focus on it, so that's where things are right now, brother.
Okay. Let me say love and peace to Sugar Love. The Foodie Squad is coming. A lot of great people are coming into the platform. Off the Record podcast. Wait a minute. Now, Randy, these brothers, I'm going to be bringing them on the platform probably on the 11th next, I believe, in 2 weeks in July. And I'm very excited to see them in the chat room. And matter of fact, I got to mod them up because I like what they've been doing on their platform. So to the brothers of Off the Record podcast, everybody in the chat room, I'm going to be doing an interview with those brothers. They have a fantastic podcast and going to have them on the show. And we're going to get into something. But that's for a few weeks now. That's for some weeks now. And I saw them in the chat room, so I wanted to give them some love along with everybody in the chat room that's been following my program. Thank you again. Now, Randy, this is most important, brother. Let people know a little bit about your background, programs, or business adventures, some of the things that you've been in. Give us a nice highlight.
Yeah, this is just a highlight. Immediately following college, I got into home-based business. Another name for it is multi-level marketing. Now, a lot of you guys probably heard of multi-level marketing out there, and it has its stigma, but it actually has changed my life. It did a lot of positive things for me. It got me into personal development, reading books, traveling, meeting people, learning, certain things that brought confidence in my life. It eventually, over the years, brought me to meeting people all over the country, traveling all around the country. I've actually been in other countries thanks to multi-level marketing. It's brought a lot of success to my life, but you know what? It's also brought some disappointments to my life, and it taught me how to have some thick skin. We used to call it rhino skin. And that was when things that happen to you might be undesirable. You got to look towards the positive, or you got to be able to handle things that are tough or disappointments. You got to learn how to fall off the horse and get back up. And so there's been good times over the last several years, but through my journeys, I've learned a certain truth about things. I've sought truth. And I've kind of gained a certain perspective about things, and I like to be as honest and truthful as possible, and especially about the world around us and how how things affect people, the response people have, reactions that people have. Then you look into. I'm a father of two. I've been married for 24 years this year. I have two adult sons, and which you haven't seen them in a while. You probably remember when I had little babies, but now they're big old men.
Well, I had a chance. I was stalking your Facebook page this morning.
Yes, sir.
And I had a chance to see your two sons. And then I said, wow, they're grown as hell. And then I had a chance, brother, to watch you, which I think all black people, I think people in general should be trained in how to use weapons. And I saw you in the firing range, and I said, well, IV, man, hey, don't nobody come to his place. You're gonna get one.
It'll be a bad day. It'll be a bad day.
Right. So let's go ahead and get into it, brother. We talked about, before we went live some weeks ago, about this whole issue around fulfillment as a man. Are we fulfilled? Are you living your life to fulfillment? Who are you as a man? Who are you as a person? And Randy, I would like you to take off and get into this a little bit more. What do you mean about fulfillment, brother? This is where I got this from you now.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? What is this about?
Well, I think this is just for everybody to ponder a little bit. First of all, you got to be completely honest with yourself, and we gotta ask ourselves: are we completely honest with ourselves when we look at our role in society? Now, this of course goes for everybody, but because I'm a man, we're going to talk about from a man's perspective. And we got to ask ourselves if we're actually honest with ourselves about our role and who we are and what we are geared to do in society. And a lot of times we find ourselves more focused on routine than we are on reward. And I believe that for a lot of times our routine seems to take the place of reward. And our routines in society, especially for men, oftentimes leads us to carrying burdens, doing things that are expected of us from society, but is not really what brings us happiness. And, when you look at society today, especially from an economic perspective, we work pretty hard. Men especially, we work so hard in society, carrying some of the bigger burdens of life. Men put themselves at danger when they go to work. Largely, men, are expected to be in hazardous situations for the sake of society. Men have the highest level of suicide. Men are usually the people that don't, receive the favor in the court system. Men are the ones that are usually, sought after to go fight in wars, and therefore become more the expendable race. And at the same time, have we taken time to really define what it means to be a happy man from a man's perspective, not just satisfying what society expects of us, because we'll do that too, won't we? We'll do that.
Yes.
You know, hey, I'll be the best dad, I'll be the best father, I'll be the best husband, I'll do all the things that I is expected of me. But at the same time, what is it that really is what I want to do? And when we look at things from an economical standpoint, brother, it seems like we just chasing our tails most of the time, doesn't it?
Well, Randy, let me ask you this question, because I was saying this earlier today. What's up, Sosa? Let me just say what's up to Sosa. Let me say peace to Peace, Love, and Lucy. We got the TR News Review in the house. Y'all gotta check his channel out. We got SF Rose. Thank you for being here. Sosa's in the house. And then we got my man, Mr. Mel Vice, who I have on the screen right now. He says, right, he agrees with you, Brother Randy. Right. Let me say that I was saying this today. So let me ask you this question. This goes for everybody. When you take away material possessions, cars, jewelry, money, and I hate to say this, even if you were to take away your family, your wife, your kids, let's say you didn't have any of that. You didn't have any of these things. Then you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, man, who are you? I ask you that right now, Brother Randy. When you take away all these luxuries and pleasures of life and family, I hate to say that, but I gotta say it.
You gotta say it. And
you look at yourself in the mirror. Who are you? That goes for me, you, and everybody listening. Who are you, Randy?
That's right. So, I've been on a journey. Info man, I've been on a journey all my life. I've been seeking what is the meaning of life, and obviously, I can't say it's obvious because I don't think it's that obvious, but I've discovered that the meaning of life is contribution, and I don't mean to just put it in simple terms like that, and because if you make it too simple, sometimes people don't value that. If it's too simple, it'll just go right over their head. But when you really look at what contribution is, we as men, we were built for contribution. We were built for contribution, whether we're talking about our brawn or masculinity, or if we're talking about our level of intelligence, it's all built on us so that we can contribute to society and help build and erect societies. However, the problem is, and this is where I think we don't find what makes us happy, right? Because you said it. What is a man? A man is someone who recognizes his role is contribution, and then he can posture himself to express his fullest capability of contribution. So then the next question is, well, how come men aren't doing that?
Right.
Now we have a discussion then, don't we? Now we have a discussion. When you ask, how come a man is not expressing his full capability to give the contribution that he was built for, now we start talking. Well, why not? How come a man does not express himself to the fullest capability of what he was meant to do? And then we start talking about, okay, well, let's look at our education system. Does our education system really, truly assist us in being the kind of men we need to be? Does our society and the expectations from society really help us be the men that we were intended to be?
Well, let me stop. Let me say this right here about the educational system. And I don't want anybody to take this wrong, but this is just reality.
Yeah.
The educational system in this country, for the most part, is dominated by female energy. So therefore, you have young men going to school, trying to find themselves and who they are in an educational environment, for the most part, other than just playing sports and having a male coach and all of that kind of stuff. Take that to the side. Overall, who is spending the most time with them and giving them instruction? It is female instructions.
That's right.
And we know, especially for black kids, when you're in school, a lot of times male children, particularly black male children, will be labeled as hyperactive, out of control, learning disabled, all these different things in an environment that is dominated by female educators. So where's a young man to really get that type of masculine energy, especially if you didn't grow up with a father at home? Now, a lot of us get it through sports. I do sports to an uncle, someone like that. So that is important. But you're spending a lot of time with female teachers who tend to look at the male behavior sometimes as hyperactive, aggressive, and out of control.
That's right.
Take it from there. But I just had to say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not to, and I just want to make sure to our sisters out there, our mothers, our aunts, the so important women in society and in our lives and in culture and everything. There's a role for everybody. Everybody has a place in society, and we should recognize all of these roles as valuable in their own right. But we are talking about in my opinion, Infoman, the systemic breakdown of the masculine man. And my belief system is that the masculine man is an enemy to the state. And I can tell already you already see where I'm going with that. No. Stop. No. Stop it. Stop. No, brother. Stop it right there. Stop it right there. I gotta say this. I am so glad that you said what you said, because we're living in a society today where there's this narrative called toxic masculinity. That's right. And I want you to touch on toxic masculinity, because I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's all bull crap. That's right. I think it's all being used for another agenda in mind. And I'm not going to look, I'm going to say this. Everybody has the right to their sexuality. That's right. But I'm telling you, sir, I'm seeing things on television and in movies where I'm seeing masculinity is being attacked, and it's also being replaced with something else. So go right ahead, brother, with what you were saying. But I had to add that, because when you said that, a bell went off. A bell went off in my head, and I had to say something. Well, and you like you said in the opening of the show, we were fraternity, and I don't know, as recent as 25, 27 years ago. I don't mean to age us, brother, but when we were in college, I can remember a time when being an astute man and displaying masculinity and displaying brawn, displaying capability, durability. Remember, our whole experience was all about durability, brother. I mean, we were tested on the durability side of things. And we just don't see that anymore. And it appears that there's a systemic, and I know there's other issues. We can go down the road of race and all these kind of things that are floating around in politics and stuff in the world today. But man, I think at the bottom line, you peel away all the fluff and all of the layers and examine the soft inner fruit. It's because men have become weak, that that government has run amok, that society has broken down, values have broken down, families have broken down. That's because men have become weak in our society. Wow. And, Brother Randy, there's a group on YouTube, which I'm very familiar with. I know a lot of these brothers on YouTube. I got to get you on O'Shea Duke Jackson's show. There's a whole area in YouTube of what we call Black Manosphere or Manosphere. And a lot of your things that you're saying is some of the things that brothers and folks in that area of YouTube talk about. You are so correct. Now I must ask you this question, not to cut you off in what you're saying. Yes, sir. A lot of cats on YouTube say that they believe that this breakdown, and I'm sorry, ladies, if I'm making you feel uncomfortable, but this is the Information Man Show. You know that I bring different points of views on this show. But there are a lot of cats that say that you got males being raised by females in single parent households, and we know that has been an issue within the black community, but it happens in other communities as well. Right,
And
right.
that if you had, and when you replace the male, then that child is only getting feminine energy. So now that child grows up with hormones.
Yeah.
And now he is snappy. He's quick to use a gun. He's quick to do dangerous things.
That's right.
Because he's been learning these emotional ways from being raised by a mother.
That's right.
Do you think that that is the reason why men can't be men, or society is just changing? Because let's be honest, most of the people who make the laws in this country are men. What's happening to us?
Well, that's a good point to bring up. And again, I think we definitely need to emphasize that this is not an attack on women at all. This is not that direction.
Tell
We're
the
just,
truth.
thank you. We're just talking about the truth. And the truth is that women alone cannot raise a man,
Tell the
because
truth.
a woman does not know what it takes to be a man. Now, I'm not saying a woman can't nurture a man, take care of a man, make sure he's fed and loved and feel warm and secure and have that sort of relationship with his mother and things like that. But and I'm speaking from just personal experience. I didn't I was raised in a single parent family household. Now, I don't blame my mother, or I don't blame women or nothing like that. I like I said, I think this is a systemic breakdown of the relationship between young boys and their fathers. It's like if you look at a lot of the what we used to call the black exploitation movies of the 70s and late 60s and early 70s, a lot of times you just look at Cleopatra Jones. You'll see a situation where a black woman has been hired by the government. And in the movie, she is dynamic, man. She's got the car. She's got the money. She's traveling the world, and she's got guns and knows judo and all this kind of stuff. And then you got to ask, and I think the whole nation has to ask this. Well, if this is the image that women think that they can get from the government, and the government can provide them this, and the government can provide them that, whether it's Cleopatra Jones or whether it's the welfare system, well then what do they want from the man? You see?
Wow.
Do they want
Brother.
from the man?
Brother Randy, you are tailor made for YouTube, brother. You need a manosphere channel right away. You'll have 1 million subscribers in no time. But you're telling the truth. I got to get you on the. I got to get in contact with my man O'Shea Duke Jackson. He gets thousands upon hundreds of people over in his. I got to introduce you to him and get you on his platform, brother. But keep up with what you're saying, because you're telling the truth. And once again, we're not saying that if you're not that type of woman, then it doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, it's not an
it applies to women that fit that narrative, that are raising their sons sort of in this I was going to say pussy, but go on.
Yeah. Well, I think the strategy is, and this is in my opinion, okay, women in general look for the safest environment for themselves and for their offspring. That's just the bottom line. It's in their nature to do that. And you can't do nothing to change that, brother. That is what they are. Like, we are structured to contribute through our muscles and through our minds and through our capabilities and durabilities. That's what a man's role is. That's what God gave us to do. Women, on the other hand, they have the nurture. They want to look for protection and security and safety. And hey, let's face it, man. If the government, who believes that strong men are the enemy, and so therefore the government wants to weaken the man, well, what does he do? He provides the imagery and the resources to outdo the man. So if the government outdoes the man, the government already knows that women will seek security, safety, nurture. The women will seek and so if women, this is natural. They will compare. Well, what can I get over here versus what can I get over here? Now, if the man and especially we can say the black man, especially looking at the history of demographics and economics in the black community, and that's a whole nother topic. But
Yes.
if the woman, the black woman especially, sees that the black man is not fit, ill-equipped, not worthy of providing this type of safety and security she's looking for, either for herself or for her offspring, then she will naturally look for where that safety and security is. And
Well,
if the government is providing these
right.
tools and resources and all this kind of stuff, then the woman will say, "Hey, maybe Daddy Government can take care of me a little better. Let me go for some welfare. Let me go for let me live in fantasy land and dream that someday a black Prince Charming is going to come along and take care of me." But they disconnect from the cohesiveness of the family in the community.
Well, that's what you're saying is based on historical facts, because back in the 60s and 50s, when you go way back, it was black women that were given the opportunity to work in these private jobs. So they took the black women came into the workforce. They were dependent. They made it where you would be dependent on the white boss.
Yeah.
And then you keep the black man unemployed. That's right. Where we live in a society where being part of a man is your ability to do what? Provide. That goes back to,
that's
back to that goes back to the beginning of time where man was a gatherer hunter. So if a black man or a man can't provide for his family, and the government provides programs and jobs for the women, then the woman turns around and says, "What do I need you for?" And then that becomes a phenomenon where the woman may say, "Get out of my house. I don't need you here. I don't need a man." It begins to come down on each other. And then it does what? As I put this thumbnail on the screen, the young black male now becomes prey. That's right. And becomes victim, because now the father has been removed out of the household. I know when welfare back in the day, if the man was living in the household, whether married to the woman or not,
that's right,
the woman would lose some of her benefits.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay. I'll meet you for a little bit while you do what you got to do there. So it would bottom line hurt the male, the young male, and then what happens is this, brother, and we're going to touch on this somewhere down the line in this interview, that becomes the issue of black men or depression. And then we know that depression and suicide in men, particularly black men, is starting to increase itself due to all these stressors and expectations that are put on us from the damn start.
Yeah.
And what you just broke down, brother Randy, is what a lot of brothers on he just got he got his little doggy back there. It's okay. And let me just say this too. This is what they call on YouTube. A lot of brothers say this. It's called monkey branching. The woman will monkey branch from the most best provider at that time. Whoever is providing what she needs at that time, just like you said, we use another term for it, which is monkey branching. Yeah. So, brother Randy, you are talking truth in what's going on today, right now, brother. So, continue with what you were saying.
And I want to just call out Sonia Sees. I see Sonia. She made a point that women are only doing things. They're not doing anything unnatural. And
let me put it on the screen. On the screen.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. There it is right there.
Okay. There's another one up there. I don't know if it's higher or lower, but it's higher than that one.
I'll find it. Let me see here.
Yeah, that one. The point is this is why Sonia especially, I made the point that this is not about woman bashing. This is not that kind of conversation. This is just talking about the effects of what happens to men. And Info Man, you just said, you brought up that image with the young men, and you said they become victim. And I think what's worse than becoming victim is they become malleable. And what I mean by malleable is that they become controllable. You see, now that they don't have any, leadership, they don't have any masculine demonstration or example. They don't have a man in their lives and whatnot. They grow up with filling in the blanks to who knows what they consider is being a man. We don't even know. All we can see is the result. I lived in Richmond, California, as a kid, and
Richmond is rough. That's a rough territory,
man. And it used to be really rough. And I lived on the East Coast for a little while in a really crazy neighborhood. And I mean, this is all black on black crime, like you just couldn't believe. And we asked ourselves oftentimes, why do men try to hurt themselves so much? Hurt each other. Why are men why do men target each other as the reason for their aggression and all this kind of stuff?
Right.
And go ahead.
No, you said something that was triggering for me, and I know it's triggering for some of my audience, because there's this whole issue about black on black crime. And just let me, as a reminder to you and everybody, that you have white on white crime,
absolutely,
Asian on Asian crime, because when you live in close proximity to each other, you will commit crime. And I know this because of the kind of work that I do, that most of the different ethnic groups that I deal with, they have committed crime on each other. Now, I'm not making any excuses, because black people, with all the shit that we've gone through historically, we should not be harming each other. But we know that part of why that happens is because whenever you have communities where you have low social economics, no jobs, no opportunity, you have crime. I remember the midnight basketball program, and when they implemented it, crime went down. A lot of the brothers that were on the street were a part of the program, where they had to get job training, education, counseling. They had to stop the gang activity and do troops, and then they were involved, and it really decreased the crime. Well, guess what? They didn't have any more money to keep it going, because they found out that a lot of times the cops weren't meeting their quotas. So I just want to say that, because I understand what you're saying. Yeah. But we also have to keep in mind that a lot of other groups do commit crime on each other, and oftentimes the news and larger society does not report that in the way they report what we do to each other.
Yeah. And I agree with that 100%. 100%. So, and I think, when it comes down to it, men especially carry quite a burden. We're not only, and oftentimes, and this kind of goes into a little further, but oftentimes the solution that we're given to try, and I wouldn't even say break free. I wouldn't even try to say to advance ourselves, so to speak, but it just to fit in, it almost turns into a goal just to get out of the muck and just exist. If you can just exist, that's an advancement for a lot of times in society for men, especially Black culture. But oftentimes we and this is from age old, we learn that, if you go to school and get an education and then get a degree, that's your best shot. That's your best chance. That's the way you do it. And unfortunately, I believe, and this is just coming from my own experience, almost 30 years being self-employed, that avenue doesn't yield the true elevation that a lot of people expect. However, men especially are crammed into that box. They're crammed into that box to try to make that be the solution that they need. But as we see in society, especially in times like today with COVID-19, getting everybody out of their jobs and all of this kind of stuff, all of a sudden it becomes clear that, wait a minute, all of this job stuff, that the JOBs and all these kind of things, it's never enough. It's not enough to pay all your bills. It's never enough to pay all your expenses that you have. It's never enough to pay the house note, the car note, the mortgage or insurance, or the lifestyle, or get something nice for your kids and all your spouse, and try to live a happy life and live in the best neighborhoods and have safety and security in your around your neighborhood, and do all these kind of things, put something away for the future and do all these kind of things. It's never enough. So the man.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this, that, I don't want to sound whiny here, but I've always gotten the feeling, Randy, that no matter what you do as a man, and it's not that men should all be looking, we should not be looking for validation. That's something that makes us a little bit different. We do things because we do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
But it also feels that no matter what you do as a man, when you are doing the right things, it doesn't seem like society, it doesn't seem like anyone gives a damn, because it's simply, well, you're a man, that's what you're supposed to do and what you have to do. Well, shit, we are reminded of that from the day when we're growing up as young men. So what I want to say to you, or what I want to read right here, and I'm going to, from time to time, I want to get some chat room participation, and I'll be reading their comments. Sonia C says this: it's the most natural thing for a mother to do is follow nature's law, not to put anything before her children. Now, I totally get that. Totally get what she's saying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a natural instinct. And again, I want to remind everybody, this is not a woman bashing. That's not the purpose of this conversation, obviously. But we have to understand our nature. Our nature. Men are made to contribute with their mind, their muscle, their capability, and their durability. That's what we are made to do. Women are made to nurture, protect, and provide for offspring. In the micro setting. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about all men and women can work in careers and do all this kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is that men carry a huge burden based on society, and that and at the same time, there is so much working against us, so much that we don't talk about. And yeah, there's things that are limiting to everybody. But how come we don't ever talk about the things that are limiting to men? And
right.
How come we don't? Why we need to talk about the solutions that men can employ in order to help them elevate. And
right.
And I think it's definitely a time for that kind of thing. If we don't, right. If we don't support and start focusing on the degradation of the man, then we're going to have the government will run amok without anybody to stop them, because men are going to take that role, obviously. Right. And two, we're going to see our families break down completely, and we will lose any type of influence we might have on the next generations to come.
Right. Let me say this. Sonia C said the government can, the system can, but women do not destroy the community. This is what I'm gonna say to that. I don't think that we're saying, I'm not subscribing that women are destroying the community. However, it's so easy to say, what I notice is that when things go wrong in the community, when things go wrong with young men, when a woman has a son, for example, I'm using a son for example, if that son's doing well in school or he's a great athlete, the woman will say, that's my son. I raised him by myself. His father wasn't around. I did it all by myself. My son's successful. Now, when that same son grows up to be a thug who robs people, who's in jail, because I deal with these kind of guys for a living, so I know what the hell I'm talking about, because I have dealt with thousands and thousands of young men and have interviewed them psychologically and find out what? No father in their life. No father here, no father there. The gang became their father. Yeah. And so a lot of times, some women, not all women, they will take the credit for when the young man is successful, but when he turns into a thug, what do some women sometimes say? Oh, it was the father. He didn't turn out right because, he didn't have his father in his life. His father was no good, so he ain't no good. It ain't. So a lot of times some ladies don't want to take any accountability to how their son turned out as much as they will if he ends up getting a scholarship to USC or something.
Well, and on top of that, and again, I'm going to brace you guys for this. A lot of times we say, well, it takes two to tango, right? It takes two to tango. They both did this and that, but let's face one thing, and we got to recognize this, because when children grow up to be bad, it's probably 95% the father's fault based on society. Okay.
Right.
But let me just say this. Women control all aspects of conception. Okay. It don't matter what a man wants to do, as far as conceiving children or taking care of children, or, it is literally the woman's option as to who she lays down with, who she conceives with, whether or not the inception leads to a full-term birth, whether or not a man can be, you hear the language I'm using?
Yes.
The family.
Yes.
If a woman decides that she doesn't want any one of those aspects, if she don't want to conceive, she won't, then that is her prerogative. The man has to, say no. If the woman wants to end a pregnancy, it's the woman's decision. If the woman wants to have the man in a life, then or doesn't, that's her decision. She can end it or start it, or the man does not have the same automatic, control over raising children like women do. Another burden.
Let me say this right here. We got a good brother in here by the name of Super Mike 2164. He says our community has been manipulated. It's mothers, fathers, and society conditions. I would agree with that. Then Sonia Sees, who's been on fire today, she said that the boys look to other males for role modeling by 9 years. She says that it's not women that raise young men, but simply it is young men looking for men to learn how to be a man. But I gotta say this is my pushback to those statements right here. This is my pushback to that. And I agree that that young men do look when young. This is the pushback though. Why is it that some women will often say, I'm the father and I'm the mama? I'm all that rolled up into one in a bag of chips. Even on Father's Day that just passed, you have young ladies out there that will say that they are the father and they're the mother. Okay. You will have women that will say, I raised him to be a young man. However, when your son goes out there into the streets and he's influenced by gang members, guess what? Those same gang members 9 and 10 times did not have a father in their life, and they were raised by a single mother. So my question, as controversial as it is, and that's what this show is about, touching all issues, how can I think that we all can share in the blame, men and women, because certainly where were the fathers to raise these kids to help that mother out? I can be fair about this, but at the same time, where were the damn mothers to raise those sons who became gang members? Where were they?
Well,
and their responsibility as mothers raising these sons. How did they allow their sons to get out of control? Now you can say, well, because they didn't have a father. Well, it gets back to what I said before. When that son becomes a star athlete or scholar to us, then you say all praises to God that I raised him so well. But when he goes bad, now it's all about, it's men's fault. No. If you're going to say that we need to have a man, it takes a man and a woman to raise a child, and a woman raises that child by herself, then she should have some responsibility for that child's behavior just as much as if a man raised a son and the son turns out bad. then we have to be held accountable for some of what we did or did not do.
Yeah, and on top of that, to add to that whole thing is this. Oftentimes we take a man and we single him out as the culprit as to of the condition or mindset or the outcome of the child, and oftentimes we will tag a man with the label of a what do you call him, a deadbeat dad or deadbeat father, and society accepts this. Anytime you see a single parent, usually a mother with a single child, oftentimes we will target that man and we will call him a deadbeat dad. Now let's look at a couple things here. What man doesn't want to raise his child? Okay. What kind of condition would there have to be for a man to not want to raise his child? Now, I'm not talking about Pookie and Bebe. Okay. I'm talking about a man. What kind of situation would there have to be for a man to not want to raise his child? And oftentimes it has nothing to do with the man inability or unwillingness to raise his child. Oftentimes it's the relationship of the woman and the man that causes the problem. But yet society burdens the man with this label, completely excusing the fact that maybe conditions for the man in the relationship with his woman or that woman was not capable. They weren't able to be amicable together raising a kid. And therefore the man decides that if this situation is not worthy of the degradation of his dignity, and because the woman, and again, this is not woman bashing, this is just the way it is, the woman has all and complete 100% control over conception, inception, and child, everything, legally, in the court system, everything. And I'm not a lawyer, and I all of that. I'm just saying that if the shit hits the fan, the man's option is to leave the situation. It has nothing to do usually with the child. Now, if you want to talk about a deadbeat dad, a deadbeat father, or somebody that's a deadbeat, some joker, some idiot, some whatever you want to call it, then again, you got to go back to the woman and say, why did you lay down with a guy that was obviously of this kind of character? You see, you gotta ask her, how is it that you came to lay down with this character that has all of these flaws, and allow yourself to conceive with this gentleman, with this man?
Brother Randy, it comes back to a question that is talked about a lot on YouTube. It comes to a question that a lot of people don't want to deal with, and that becomes a question of accountability. You are accountable for your actions. So, for example, if I run around with different women and run around with different women, then I have to be held accountable for whatever comes out of that. If I have a child out of wedlock or I have kids, and then the financial issues will be what I'll have to deal with, because that is the bid that I laid in.
Yeah.
And I must make that bid.
Absolutely.
Now, the same thing goes for women. If you choose to be with a guy because he makes you wet where it counts, and he has all the masculine qualities that you like physically, and I think that's part of the problem, that a lot of times we use what we see to judge what we think is good for us, instead of using our brain and actually investigating that person that we're involved in. So and then people make bad decisions because they go with their emotions, and some say that when you're in love, it's almost like being on a damn drug.
Yeah.
Because you're not using real logical thinking.
That's right.
And so women and men make bad decisions with the kind of individuals that we get involved in, and then bad things happen. But let me bring this one up too. And this is something that I was going to do on my second channel. And I was listening to a brother by the name of Farrell Says That. He went on this. He says one of the things that people don't account for, Brother Randy, when it comes to the black family and where the black family is economically, is that anytime you have a black man and woman break up, there's a breakup in the relationship. Guess what? You just cut your goddamn economics. You just cut your wealth off. So let's say that black man is living in a household. He's working. The woman has a job, because ladies today are independent, right? So
Yeah.
she has a career. You have a career. So financially, you're bringing more bacon and bread to the house. Now you break up. That father wasn't a busted up father at that time when he was taking care of his kids. But the minute you break up, now the economics have changed. Now his economics have changed. Now you take him through child support court, which is no friend to men. And now you slap on him. You allow the court to slap on him these amounts of money that he probably would have been paying had he been living with you and the child. Right. Now he's hit with that money, and he's having a hard time making child support payments, at the same time putting a roof over his head, and he's getting his checks garnished, not because he's a deadbeat father, just because the child support courts have it so racked up against the man now he's missing payments, and now you go and tell your girlfriends or tell your friends he's a deadbeat. But he wasn't a deadbeat when you opened your legs to him. He wasn't a deadbeat when you were married to him and you were trying to have a family with this man. But all of a sudden, my argument is that a lot of brothers that get labeled deadbeat, they're not necessarily deadbeat. They're having some economic issues, because the child family courts, they take so much of your money.
That's right.
You can't even survive. Now I'm a lucky guy, because I got 50-50 custody of my daughter. I married a woman. We got a divorce. We were married for 15 years, but we got a divorce, and it was all amicable, no drama. And from the day one, I said, I'm getting 50-50 custody, and therefore she can't dictate certain things, and I can't dictate certain things to her, but I stand on firm ground, and I'm not getting raked over the coals by the courts.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? That's
and
because
99% of all court scenarios favor the woman, meaning that they don't favor the man. That's what it really comes down to. I mean, men, I know brothers out there that they just can't even, they can't even pick their nose without this constant fear that they can't have $1 in the bank. They can't make a paycheck. They can't travel, a passport, everything is the whole system is structured to follow every little step of this guy might make, in order to
Tell the truth.
collect any little freaking penny that this guy might make, so they can quickly take it away from him and put it in and do whatever they do with it. So, and it's crazy out there for men right now, brother.
Right. And Randy, let's preface this right now. I already know that in the chat room and those that are listening, there are people that are saying, what is this? This is not the Information Man show that I know. What is he? He sounds like one of those guys in the manosphere. Wait a minute. What's happened to No, the thing is, I talk about that's why it's called Information Man Show. We bring all different views to the channel, some that you're going to agree with and some that you're not going to agree with. For example, look. I got to say this. We got Off the Record podcast. I got their statement on the board right now. And they say black family has to find a way to work together if it means we aren't going to be together. What is your thoughts about that across the board with relationships, Brother Randy?
Well, we definitely, and I agree with that Off the Record. I can't wait to check out you guys' podcast. But yeah, absolutely. We have come to be a society where we don't value important things like relationships. We don't value the environment of our children. We don't value these things anymore, and so we just go into battle. We try to battle for who can get the most material possessions. Or we try to get into battle with who's right and who's wrong, and all these kind of things. And we need to, first of all, we need to start putting some focus on relationships before marriage.
Right.
We need
Golly.
we need to put some focus on relationships. What is marriage? I mean, you ask your audience here, how many of you married people out there went to
Tell
marriage
the
school
truth.
before you got married? And this is a situation where you're supposed to spend your entire life with someone. What, have kids? What, have the same bank account?
Well,
What,
wait a minute. Wait a minute, brother Randy. Let's do a survey right now. Everybody in the chat that's been married before or are married right now or have been married or planning to get married, ask us, have you gone through some type of marriage school? Isn't it amazing? You have to learn how to drive a car. You got to go through training to buy a house. You got to go through certain requirements to get into school. There's certain things that we have to do in society for basic stuff. And really, there really is no handbook or real training for marriage. Now, I know in the Catholic religion, sometimes you go through a little counseling with the priest. But overall, there's nobody in a society that really prepares us for getting married. You make a very good point, brother.
That's right. That's right, brother. So, here's a man that gets into a lifelong relationship, supposed, right? A woman too, right? You're supposed to get in a relationship with a man for the rest of your life. Okay. It sounds crazy to even talk about it like that, right? You're supposed to go into a relationship with somebody based on a thrill, right? Because we all get that thrill, right? Oh, love at first sight. Oh, makes me hot, right? Well, we all get that thrill, and somehow that's supposed to equate to all the economics around life today. What, paying taxes, getting paychecks, planning for your future, your retirement, your kids' future, where they going to school, what kind of life they gonna have, what kind of life you gonna have in your youth, your middle age, and your elderly. You supposed to have all of this together just based on, oh, I'm in love. And that's supposed to calculate for the rest of your life with another person. And I promise you, man, I've been married 24 years this year. I can tell you that the person I married on day one is not the same person I married 24 years ago. We both had to become different people along the way. This is what society does to us. We are supposed to bring together, get together, people together, and have these marriages. We have no education on the subject. We have no counseling on the subject on any kind of ongoing basis. There's all kind of things that come from different, my money background is different than my wife's money background. We had to read books and stuff to learn how to come together on finances. What about raising children? Raising children, me and my wife, we both decided that, okay, I don't know that I know everything about raising children. And she agreed. I don't know if I know, because all we got to look back on is our parents, right? And I'm sure most of us will agree our parents, we came out fine, but we probably won't give them any super rewards on raising us as kids. I don't know. I had some trouble time. My mom and dad were only 15 when I was born. So, but I guess what I'm trying to say, info man, that we are destined for trouble here. We are headed for destruction because we didn't start off right in these institutions and scenarios. Men have a very hard time in society because the foundation of what a man is supposed to be and trying to help a man do what he's supposed to do, to put all the ducks in a row and have everything lined up, is very tough for a man.
Okay, let me make some announcement here. We've got my man George Makem, this too. Check him out, everybody. That's my brother there from Philadelphia. That brother is very well known within the Black conscious community, and he's a brother that I will be getting on this platform at some point in time. Support his channel, give him plenty of love. Lucille, let me see, Sincere A. Lucy, thank you for being here. Got to bring you up on the panels as well and talk to you, sister, about a few issue. We've got Sonia C's made a good point earlier, and she said that maybe we should start our own marriage counseling and not wait on the system to create it for us. And I would say to her, well, I'm going to give her a clap right now on that. I'm going to give her a hip, hip, parade. A hip, hip, parade. Yes, I totally agree with that 1,000%. We need to start our own counseling. So we got, let me see, we got my man, No Cupcake Zone is in the house. We got Old Reliable in the house. Back to the Basics is in the house. We've got Fashion for Life is in the house. We got Craig Harper who's coming to the house. Peace to you, brother Craig. Good to see you in here. Peggy Roster's in the house. She's in the house. We got Laurel Dean. Welcome to the Information Man Show, brother Laurel. 06 to you and all that good stuff, rap. And don't worry, brother, you're going to be up here very soon for an interview. But I got a whole bunch of brothers out there that I haven't even brought to the forefront for you folks out there. Brothers that are actually doing things, tangible stuff. And we've got Alan Christian, who has just super chatted me. Thank you for the super chat.
I think that's
Thank
my cousin.
you for the super
Oh,
chat.
that's your cousin coming
I
in?
think that's my cousin.
That's your cousin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, make sure you subscribe, okay? All right, make sure you subscribe. Don't mess
You are
around.
listening to Information Man. Please make
Yeah.
sure to subscribe to his channel.
Thank you for the super chat again.
Thank you for the super
And let me see
chat.
who else is in there. Sonia C's has been on fire. And let me just say something right now, Randy. Sonia C's has been following me when I had crickets in the chat room, when I had crickets following me. And so I respect her. She is very much pro-family. She wants the best for our community. And I think she feels like, hey, you know, not all of our women out here are doing the ratchet thing type of things.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
all
Absolutely.
respect to her. When we say the things that we're saying, we're not talking about all women.
Yeah.
There are some women that do fit this category, just like there are some men out here that are musty, crusty, and dusty.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they should be brought to the damn fire, to the carpet, and held accountable for their misdeeds.
Yes.
Definitely. Let me see. There was somebody who had a statement in the chat room that I wanted to bring to the forefront. Let me see. Golly, man. Somebody said something. You've got 40-year-old women trying to be Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. And you know what? No Cupcake Zone. I just want to, Info Man, if I could bring up another thing.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
A few people are starting to talk about this, about the sexualization of society. And listen, guys, I don't. Am I old school? I mean, am I old fashioned? I must be old fashioned, but you know, I can remember when a time when women didn't, you know, young ladies, young girls didn't dress the way we see them dressing these days. They didn't do so much to try and catch the attention of young men, only to demonstrate control over them, and young men. On the other hand, I see young men these days that have been so feminized that it almost looks like there's no hope for them, because I'm just going to go out on a limb on this one. And I'm just going to say, I don't think women have a true interest in feminized men. I'm just going to throw that out there, that feminized men are not attractive to women. But for some reason, society has turned women, and I'm just going to say it, Info Man, turn especially young women into these little prostitute-looking chicks, okay? And these little prostitute-looking chicks are walking all around demonstrating their freedom to dress the way they want and do all these kind of things. and they are attracting attention of men, older men, men of means, men of resources, and stuff like that. And I just think that that's a shame, because men or young men of the same age are oftentimes being, attacked by the feminization of men, and they're, they're not able to provide, back to what we were saying before, that safety, security, that feeling that women like to have, because they're so feminized. Now, a feminized man might be a great friend to a woman, but a feminized man is not going to be that man that a woman has that real attraction to, that carnal attraction to. And at the same time, we see girls these days running around out there looking like little prostitutes, man. I'm just saying, I'm just being real, man. This is what I see.
Okay.
So-
Now this is what I'm going to say. Once again, everybody, it's going to be polarizing. Don't take this personal.
Please don't.
Please get you a drink. Get you a drink. Just relax. Just relax. But I gotta say this. Who are the primarily? I don't want to sound like divide and conquer. I know we have to be unified. Men and women have to work together in raising our children. But come on now, let's be honest. Who are the primary people raising daughters? Who are the primary sex that's raising daughters? If women are behaving in this manner, where do they learn it? We know that some women do this because they want to get the attention of men. They want to get some sort of attention. When you look at Instagram, and I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now this is turning into a man. Now I'm turning into a. Now this is turning into a manosphere channel. Before I gotta keep this 100% real. When I look at Instagram, you have I think social media is the worst thing that could have ever happened, particularly not just for us as a people, when it comes to all this quick bait type stuff. Right. But in terms of I'm talking about the social media where you show your body, you show your face. I see so many women on Instagram showing ass, showing booty, showing everything. And I beg to say this. How many of these women that are doing that on social media are married, have boyfriends, have fiancés? Some of them are married. And if I'm married, if I'm married or I'm involved with a woman, I do not, and I don't want to hear that, oh, you can't be insecurity. That's being insecure. No, what real man
That's right.
wants his woman displaying herself as public chess, as public company for a whole world? No, those photos, all that's got to go. Because what does that say for you as a man that you will accept a woman? And I don't give a damn about all that. Oh, I'm a woman. Women can do whatever they want. No, because there are women out there that will tell you as a man why you got those women on your social media. Get that off of there. What are you doing on there, right? Women will tell you to get rid of stuff that they don't approve of. Right. But yet you have women that are using the IG as a way to not only get attention, but to somehow try to see where they stand on the sexual marketplace. And I'm telling you right now, usually when I come across these things, guess what I do, Brother Randy? I never give them a like.
That's
because the reason why women are able to do this, because you got simp dudes out there that are thirsty, tongue all out, looking at these women, and they're giving a like. And I'm saying to myself, what's the point of writing and giving a like? You're never going to get in between her legs. You're never going to go on a date with her. You're never going to get it. What was that song that was sung by Invo?
Yeah,
You're never going to get it. You never. Yeah. Gentlemen, on social media, for the most part, these women that you see on there, on the IG models, you're never going to get it. So why are you wasting your time? Go out there and find real women.
Info man, I think that this comes down to dignity. Men have lost a sense of dignity when it comes to their personal being and who they are. When brothers out there, if you feel like the tongue hanging out and oh, you're so beautiful and all of this kind of, if that's your reward, the fact that you can like an image on your phone or a computer, I don't even use a phone, but if that's your reward system, that you contribute to someone's behavior that way, and that makes you feel satisfied some kind of way, man, you got to really look at your philosophy on dignity, man. You got to look at your philosophy on dignity, because a man who holds himself in a high regard will not stoop to the level of participating in that kind of debauchery, man. That's just the bottom line. That's real talk right there, man. Men especially, we have lost control of ourselves. The and this is not about trying to preach or nothing like that. I'm not a Bible thumper or nothing like that. I'm just talking about manhood in itself. If we can't hold ourselves, if we can't posture ourselves to where we are in control of ourselves, our emotions, our feelings and stuff like that, practice some stoicism. We got to be able to practice some stoicism. We gotta learn how to allow our emotions to be subsided and let our logic come to the surface.
Okay.
If this doesn't happen, man, then we will be carrot and stick for any little thing that comes along. All you got to do is show some ass, and that's it. We can be controlled. We can be manipulated. Just show some ass, and you got all brothers. And whatever they want to do, you could just show some ass and they'll come running. Come on, man.
Right. Let me say this. We got Underrated Darkness in the house. Thank you for being here. George Makem, too, if you don't mind, Brother Randy, is a good brother of mine. He wants to say a few words. I send him a link. He's a well-respected brother. I want to hear what he has to say. This is still your show, brother, but I want to hear what he has to say. We got the ghost that's in the chat room right now. I got a lot of respect for the ghost. He goes by another name of J Speed, and he's an elder statesman, brother, and he has a lot of wisdom. But if George Makem too is out there, check your email. I sent you a link. Peace to everyone that's come in. Now I'm going to go through a series of thumbnails. And I want you at some point in time to touch on this. Now, look, all the things that we're talking about brings about these things. And this is about, are you fulfilled, man? Black men out there, are you truly fulfilled? Because are you happy? Look at this thumbnail. Are you happy? Okay. Make sure you look at those thumbnails very carefully. Are you truly happy, men? All right. Now, my man's coming in there pretty soon, but let me take something off the screen real quick. I want to take the share off the screen. Are you truly happy? Look at that thumbnail. Now, are you angry? Are you angry? You see that picture? The brother's angry. Are you angry? Okay. Black men in general. Now, do you have dreams, but your dreams are just not coming true because what's in the way? So you see the brother there, he's sleeping, relaxing, dreaming. You, black man, you man out there, are you dreaming and fulfilling your dreams into reality? Now, the picture I have up here, look at these young black men. You know that they're for success. And guess what? Their mothers, as I said before, will take full credit for their success. And if they've got fathers in their life, their fathers will take some credit. But what if they were the thugs on the block? Now, where does the blame go? That's another thought I want to put out there. Now, what about the successful black man who's worked hard all his life? He didn't have all that swagger when he was younger, and women didn't look for him because he just wasn't making the coochie wet enough. He didn't have the swagger. He didn't have the whatever it was, right? But he was a brother who was educating himself. He was going places in life. And then when the thugs run through you, that's when you look for this kind of brother because you want to have a family, right? You want to have a family.
We call it beta male, right? The beta male.
Right. And the reality is that all men and women should both be looking for the quality person where their mind, their heart, and their spirit is at. Not all of this. Can he really break me off in the middle of the night? Because that break you off in the middle of the night, it's pleasurable, but it does not last and sustain you for the future. Now, I'm saying this to say that it does not negate the fact that we do have to come together. We do have to come together. There are black men out there that need to be held accountable for not being involved in the life of their children. But however, there are many of us who are involved in the life of our children, and no one talks about it. I want to put this on the screen too, Brother Randy. This was a photo by Rolling Stones as it relates to Black Lives Matter. I have a problem with this photo because you see a black woman on there with hands up. You got you have the young child behind her. And what's missing? What's missing, everybody? What's missing, Brother Randy?
A man.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, the narrative, we have to be aware of the narratives that the media plays and trying to separate us as if black men have never been a part of movements.
That's right, brother.
Thank you.
That's right.
Now, with all due respect to you, because you are my guest, let me bring Brother George Makem too into the discussion to get his thoughts. And I'm going to say this again. We're not trying to female bash. We're simply saying that we have to be accountable for everything that we do, whether good or bad. We can't just talk about the good and not recognize what is ailing us. And we have to be accountable, all of us, me, you, all of us, everybody. Brother George Makem, come on in, brother.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I was actually barbecuing on the grill and listening in, and when y'all went into that topic, I had to jump on, man.
Yes, sir.
I want to start off first by saying this, man. As men, brothers like us that's been stand-up men in this YouTube sector, you know, like I said, I'm a brother that's been married 13 years, been with my woman for 16 years. I actually live what I talk, and I show the things that I talk about to the public. I show my children. I show my wife. I'm the example of what I speak about when I come and speak. So with that being said, us type brothers, we don't have to apologize or say that we shaking things up when we speak about women. We don't have to do that. We've earned the right as black men because we've been the example of what black women say that they want. So you don't have to apologize for criticizing some of the things that black women do. And I know in our community, because a lot of us been raised by Big Mama and Auntie and everybody else, there hasn't been any strong male leadership inside the households. So a lot of times criticizing mama or black women, like as men, we've been conditioned to be afraid to do that. Right. No, we can't do that because I'm gonna tell you something. We got a lot of dysfunction amongst black men, but black women are not infallible. They make mistakes too. They make a lot of mistakes too. But remember, we're all growing up in the same house with the same dysfunction. So if the black man is dysfunctional, that black man got two parents, a father and a mother. So the mother is at fault for things too. So if we really say we about fixing this community, then us as real men, see, because I'm gonna tell you something. A man that's married, that's with a family, a man in a household, a man is protection, direction, and correction. So now when we got a lot of households that's been reared by women and there's no men in there, when men come back into the households, male discipline and the way that male protects and correct it's looked at as toxic now because it's not normalized anymore. We're not used to seeing it. So when you see that image on Time magazine with the woman with her fists up and the little boy standing there behind the mom, that's symbolic. That has a meaning to it. There is no direction, protection, and correction and the rearing and raising up of that young boy because he's standing behind his mother.
Emotional.
We have to pay attention to those kind of things. So I'm telling brothers, listen, we ain't got to apologize. If we really want to fix it, man, you stick your chest out and you say what it is. Women will respect that more. Some women will push back, but they only pushing back because they're not used to sitting back and watching a man take charge. So now when they do hear men speak with authority, it feels internally threatening, but after a while they begin to get used to it. But if you want men in the household, it's not going to be the way it used to be. It's just not going to be like that. Because in my household, me and my wife, we equals. But when I put my foot down, I put my foot down.
That's right.
So I mean, I just, when you see these women online, because I'm old school too. You see these women online. Back in the day, women did nasty stuff, but it was amongst grown-ups.
Hmm.
Certain things was
Right.
kept. Certain things was,
And George, you can agree with me this. Yeah, you've always had nasty, but you didn't have these platforms to display your nasty to the whole world. Back when I was growing up, usually when women displayed their nasty, it was behind closed doors with the husband or the boyfriend or whoever. Of course, you had prostitutes out there that were known to do all the slutty stuff out in the open, but most women did their nasty behind the closed door. Now you've got women doing their nasty, and men too, all on the social media.
And you can't tell the difference now between the prostitute and your neighbor's daughter. You can't tell the difference anymore. They all look the same. They all look the same now. So here I got two sons, and I got to be concerned that hey, I gotta have a conversation with my two sons about what a quality woman is. You see what I mean? I gotta.
You know what, brother? Real quick, you know what, brother? Info. Most black boys, because there's no fathers in the house and inside the homes, most black boys from the time that they're children are not taught to have standards.
That's right.
That's
exactly
our community,
right.
Yeah, in our communities, we're taught to think with the head below our belly button and not the one above the neck. We sit out on a block. When I was a kid, I sat out on a block with the big homies, and they looked at every girl ass that went by. He talked about how he destroyed the women that night.
Right.
Our standards was based off of how powerful that tool between the legs was. Not my ability to use my mind. And masculinity was how strong he was in the bed, not my ability to observe my situation and become a problem solver.
That's right.
That's real masculinity. But black boys are not taught that. And I'm gonna tell women something. And I'm gonna put it in this scenario so y'all can fully understand what I'm saying. Racism and slavery was around in the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s. If they say that the mother is the first teacher, then what was this white woman teaching her sons? See what I'm saying? It's very simple, right? So let me tell you women something.
Hey, that's a whole other conversation there, brother.
It is.
If we know, watch this, right? If we know that a large portion of the black community is single moms, and we know that it's been destruction and warfare on the black family, that's not the black woman's fault. But if we know that we're at war, right? The black man and black woman, we know. So now we have to understand our roles. And I'm speaking to the woman's role right now. If we know that the homes is filled with single moms, your role now is to raise your son to be kings. Your role now is to understand that you give birth to your protector. He comes out of your womb and he's supposed to be raised up as direction, protection, and correction. If you're spoiling him, buying him $600 sneakers and phones where he hasn't earned it, and you're doing everything for him, but you're rearing your daughters to go to college and get the jobs and be black girl magic, you're doing everything backwards. Because you're raising a boy to drive around in a girl car and have a woman do everything for him. So what I'm saying is, everything is not the dad's fault. If the dad's not there, it's just certain jobs that you're going to have to take on. That's part of the warfare. And then you got brothers like me, Information Man, and other brothers. We're coming up the back. We're trying to get these brothers to raise them up and teach them. Because a lot of these brothers are grown men, but they still little boys disguised as grown men because they've never been raised to be men. Mm-hmm. They don't even understand what I'm saying. So they call me a flip when I talk this way.
That's right.
Well, let me say this, George. I want to thank you for coming on board and making the statements that you've made, brother, because you were 100% on point. Look, I deal with young men in the prison environment who have a lot of emotional issues, and you could tell that they have not been, they've not had a proper male role modeling or male mentor in their life. And I'm dealing with grown men who I'm almost like I'm their father. Okay. When they're going off and they're having the issues that they're having, I'm counseling them. I'm talking to them. I'm saying, what's wrong, man? I'm calming them down. It's almost as if I'm their father, and I'm talking about grown men. Right. And when I deal with them, I give it to them straight up, and they respect that because it's something that they wanted all along, which was structure. And I'm going to say this. I don't care how anybody feels about it. Nobody can give a male structure like another proper male can.
right.
Nobody. They need male structure. I hate to say it. I'm going to say it again. They have a lot of feminine energy to them in the way they deal with crises.
That's right.
And when I talk to them and I find out what their family situation was like, it all makes sense. They get involved in gangs. Well, guess what? Like I said before, the gang members had no proper male structure. So they're actually acting out of emotions. And then they just feed that into the other young men that look up to them over and over again. Then when they're in prison and they get a certain age, they start to age out of some of their behavior. They look back and say, damn, I wasted all my life coming in and out of the system. And we know the system is stacked against us. However, let's keep that in mind. All right. I see a lot of guys who had stuff stacked against them, and it just keeps going. Now, the only way for us to change this narrative as men and as family, as a family, is that we have to first, like in therapy, we have to first be honest about our dirty draws. Men have to be honest about their bullshit, and women have to be honest about their bullshit too. Let me say peace to Uncle Reg. He said, finally, black men speaking on real issues for our people. Thank you. That's Uncle Rage, who just super chatted me, if I'm saying his name correct.
Thank you for the super chat.
And now we got a dynamic sister who's just come in. Let me give her a dynamic sister who's just come into the chat. And that's the real Dana, who just super chatted me $5. Thank you, sister.
Thank you for the super chat.
I appreciate you being here, most definitely. Randy, brother Randy.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything you want to drop on us as it relates to what brother George Macomb 2 just said? Man, you're riding with a heavy hitting brother right here on this panel right now, brother. You have anything else you want to add? Because I've got at some point to touch on the depression piece that black men are going through, or men are going through. Randy, hit us with something.
Well, I think what Brother Macon is the point that he's making is really the role of the man in the household. And when you have, in my opinion, there's a systemic destruction of men, black men especially, but men in general. And I believe that strong men are an enemy to the state. And unfortunately, a weakened man is an enemy to everybody, because now we have a destruction of family. And I think what Brother Macon is saying is that, the structure of the family, the mold of the family trumps all. It is the pinnacle of our society.
Tell the truth.
And I think a lot of the things that we stand for in today's day and age are things that we didn't stand for a couple generations ago. I know when I was a kid, things looked a whole lot different. Can't even believe some of the things that we accept in society today as normal. And I believe that that we have to again identify the value of masculinity in the household. And this is going to be a tough pill to swallow, because men have to learn how to be masculine without being an ass. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. Be masculine without being an ass, but be masculine. And women have to learn how to submit to the man's masculinity for the sake of family. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, because in today's day and age, feminism has conditioned women to believe that they are equal to the man. Well, the woman's role is just as valuable as the man's role, right? But we are definitely not equal in many ways, folks. We are not equal. So the masculinity has a certain role. A woman's masculinity is not equal to a man's masculinity. Okay. So we have to recognize, again, that men have a role to contribute to, and that is our build. Our build is to contribute through our logic, through our muscles, through our thinking, through our brawn, our masculinity, our capability, our logic. This is who we are. We build families, we build society, we build communities. And the minute you see these things like that picture you just showed from Rolling Stone, that is nothing but an attack on the man. It is a ploy to get women to get emotionally charged and triggered to believe that they are the ones that are leading and driving society as a, single mom with a little black child. Come on, man. If that don't, I don't even want to tell you what I think of that picture, and I've never seen it before until you just showed me. So I'm a little stirred by that whole image. But see, that right there is destruction of the family. Look at the strength that they're trying to give the single woman with her child. What reward is she really looking for? What benefit does the child get from being next to that woman in that picture? Notice society is behind her, as if to support this image of a strong. Remember, a strong black woman in the 60s and 70s was not a feminism woman. A strong black woman in the 60s and 70s respected her man. So now they're taking this strong black woman image and saying we don't need a man.
Right.
And so I could get crazy about
hang on,
this stuff, man,
hang on, brother George. Hang on for just 1 minute. Hang on, brother. This is the thing. When you look at this picture, let's analyze it.
Yeah.
Like you said, everybody in America. You see the American. This is all symbolism. The American flag.
Yeah.
Just now.
Yeah.
You got everybody in the back cheering her on.
Yeah.
Yet the black male is if
missing.
he is missing, as if the black male does not play a factor within this family structure, as if we've never played a factor. And that is a problem, in my opinion, because why? Rolling Stone is a publication. It's part of the mainstream.
Millions of viewers.
And you got to be aware of social engineering and messages, subliminal messages that are put out by the media, and then you gobble them up, black man and black woman and everybody out there, and you begin to really think. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like the fact that our women have to say that they're strong. Right. That's a role that the man should play. I feel like black women say that, in my opinion, because they feel a burden themselves, which is a burden of raising a family, a child by themselves. So because the system has set it up that way so that they are raising their kids just by themselves. And now they are taking on masculine energy, masculine narratives, such as I'm strong, which we usually acquaint with men. I want my woman to be feminine. I want my woman not to have to run around saying she's strong, because I'm the one that should be the one strong for her, protecting her, providing for her, so and so forth, so that she doesn't have to sit back and say, well, I'm strong. No, that is we're out of balance. We're not in harmony with nature. Go ahead, brother George. I just had to say that, brother. I just had to say that.
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna jump off. There's a dynamic that's going on that's being missed. And I was reading the chat and I see some women saying that women will submit when the men basically give them something to submit to. A lot of men relinquish their roles. This is the problem as opposed to the 60s. Mm-hmm. Most of us don't understand history, and we don't understand the tactics of the system and how it works. Mm-hmm. We don't understand how the women was given these municipal jobs and these back in the 70s. These desk jobs up in corporations and in buildings to keep them close to the man. Mm-hmm. They kept us underworked. Now, I did a live stream a year and a half ago on how they systematically work to keep the man underemployed and consistent.
That's right.
Now, warfare on the man, the woman in the 60s understood this. This is why we fought side by side. This is why you had Black Power revolutions and situations like that. The problem that we have today is a lot of emotionalism talk without education behind it. We don't understand how we're being attacked, so we blame each other. And I'm gonna say to the sisters, when your men are being destroyed, where a black boy, from the time he exits the womb, he has to worry about another black man killing him. He has to worry about the system keeping him underemployed. He has to worry about the system creating policies where if he catch a felony, he can't get a job. He has to work. He's marginalized in so many different places. We can't use the term "we'll submit" when the men give us something to submit to. What we have to realize is how we're being attacked, and this has to be all hands on deck now. Sisters, when you give birth to these babies, you have to understand when they come out and they say it's a boy, you have to understand what your role is now in raising that boy. And you also have to understand that when whoever you open your universe up to, you have to have standards now. We at war. So you have to protect your womb from the aspect of being at war. And the only way you're going to do that is to educate yourself, because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of men are destroyed. But I want you sisters to know I'm not blaming you for anything. What I'm trying to do is educate you to understand in warfare, the biggest threat to any nation is other males. So the dominant male force seeks to neutralize the other male so they can't compete. So they can't.
Okay. Is everything all right? Let me, is everything all right, Brother George? Is everything all right? Okay. I think I'm going to unmute. Let me say peace to 3D Burns. He super chatted me $5 in the Cash App. I appreciate that, brother. Let me hit this for you.
Thank you for the super chat.
I appreciate you most definitely. And everybody, look. I know that this is a polarizing show today. And there's some people that are agreeing and some people that are disagreeing. But that's why it's the Information Man Show. I'm not going to just bring you stuff that you're going to agree with. We're going to have opposing ideas. So what I'm going to do is I want to give everybody a clap in the chat room who showed up, who came over, that's supporting the show, because I appreciate you. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now, we've got my man, I think Laurel's going to come on with us too, Brother Randy. He bat chatted me and said he wanted to come on to the discussion. I'm going to probably drop a link in the chat room as well for one or two for other people who want to come on board. But Randy, it is actually your show, brother. Is anything that you want to add to the content of what's happening on this program today? You're front and center right now.
Well, first of all, let me just recognize that I like you said, I know that there is a lot of feelings about some of these topics, and some of them are not too easy to swallow. We start talking about the truth. I believe that we should all seek to be more effective people. That's really the ultimate goal: become more effective people. And when you're trying to figure out how to become more effective, you might have to come to recognize that you are your own problem. You're your biggest problem. You might have to come to realize that. And accepting the fact that you might be your biggest problem is the hardest thing that a person can accept. So, we're going to have opinions and we're going to have blame and we're going to have all of these different things about our situations, our scenarios. But really, your goal should be to become the most effective person you can be. And if you can become the most effective person you can be, then you should be seeking solutions to becoming the most effective person you can be. And really, guys, there is absolutely nothing stopping you in any given situation. You name it. There ain't no situation that you can't seek to be the most effective person you can be. And I know, there's politics and there's, all these kind of things floating around. And, I got my opinion about politics. I got my opinions about some of these racist things, racist claims that are going on. I got my opinions about all of this kind of stuff. But that doesn't matter. None of our opinions matter. We need to examine the situations that we're in and start looking for how do we become the most effective person, which would then result in people that we can be. And if we can become the most effective people, then we'll start looking to the future and we'll start looking for solutions. And I think that's really that's the tough conversation to have right there, man.
Well, let me say this. We are entitled to our opinion, but we're not entitled to our own facts. I want to hit people down with that. Now, can you see the young lady? I can't make. She put a message. I think this is Straggler's girl.
Stinks
I'm
girl.
saying that Stinks girl. Thank you, brother. She said she said this is what she said. Excuse me, folks. She says it is not about leading with our emotions. A lot of this is reality for many. It is insulting that men often blame our opinions on our emotions and hormones. Now, I don't think personally, sister, that any of us over here today talked about a woman's hormones. We did talk about emotions. Yes, we did, because emotions actually is what gets us in a lot of our trouble, both men and women. Our emotions is what gets us in a lot of trouble in relationships, trouble in our finances, trouble in our decisions, our emotions. So that's not putting a blame on just women, because there are men out here who act very emotional and they don't think properly and they make bad decisions.
Yes.
Now, I understand where she's coming from. And we have said throughout the show today that we're not trying to blame all women. If you don't fit under this category, this is not who you are, then we're not speaking to you. We're not defining you as such. But we have said many times along the way that we're talking about women that fit this category in general. If you don't fit that category, if you're an alpha female and you're on top of your shit and you know what you're doing and how to handle your own, then kudos to you. I give you a clap for that. Now, brother George is coming back in. So let me see here. Go ahead, brother George. Go ahead.
I just wanted to finish off what I was saying. I had to jump off real fast. I just wanted to say, because I'm watching the chat, and I want to say this to the sisters and some of the brothers. Listen, at this point, the only thing we need to be understanding is strategies and warfare, how we being attacked. So let me tell you, sisters, something. When we speak on the sisters, we don't need you to run interference and talk about, because we know sisters know it's sisters that ain't shit, and brothers know it's good sisters. So we don't have to explain that. We don't owe you that explanation. We know it's sisters out here that's on the money doing their thing, that's standing on righteous ground. And we know that there's a lot of sisters that ain't shit. The same way it ain't broke. Let me tell you something. For every brother that ain't shit running around slinging dick is the girl providing a coochie for him. So we doing the same shit. So we don't owe you an explanation. What I owe you as a black man that loves the black family is to teach you the strategies in the way that we're being attacked. Mm-hmm. So that's the way. That's what we need to understand right now. So we know that the black man has been marginalized and attacked because, like I said, in every nation, it's men that fight wars. So when you neutralize the men, you make the women and children vulnerable, and they will have to assimilate into the culture of the man that's winning. So I want you sisters to understand in warfare, when you say, well, when a man give us something to submit to, well, if you have an assimilated woman into another man's nation and a destroyed man, it's not that simple. It's just those men giving you something to submit to. We have to now begin to submit to each other and understand how we're being attacked, because your men are not being reared to be leaders. From absent, I'm gonna finish with this. From absent fathers to mothers that don't understand warfare. A lot of our women don't understand how we're being attacked. So this is what we have to educate ourselves on. I don't care nothing about our accolades, how much achievements we got. None of that shit is worth nothing, because it's under the arm of the nation of another man. And we have to understand that. So a lot of our arguments that we have is a waste of fucking time. We don't have to explain certain things that's already understood. What we have to explain is the warfare and the way the roles the sisters has been thrust into, and the way your man is being attacked. Because that's what's destroying the family.
Hey, brother George, I'll be in contact with you, brother. Got to get a one-on-one finally. I thank you for George. First of all, I thank you for the things that you do in your community, the things that you have done. I thank you for the conversations that we have had. I thank you for all that you represent. Make sure to everybody that you check out George Makem 2's channel. He has excellent content. The brother is on 100% point. I thank you, brother, from the bottom of my heart for coming on and spreading and blending that knowledge, bringing that knowledge to the forefront, brother. So I want to tell you peace and love to you, your family, your grandkids, everything. This brother is a grandfather, by the way. Okay? Intergenerational.
3 times about to be a 4th one coming now. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. I'm super happy. But
Okay.
I'm gonna jump off. But I just want the sisters and the brothers to know. Let's get past the arguing about who ain't do what and who should be doing what. Let's get to the part of the war. Nobody talks about the warfare because nobody understands the way they're attacking us. We're just talking about what we're doing to each other. Know this: we're behaving the way we was designed to behave under the system of these other men. And once y'all understand that, then we'll know what the fight is really about. Peace.
That's right.
Okay. Laurel, you're coming in on 2 different, which one? Okay. Yeah. Cause I want to make room for someone else that comes upstairs if they do. Brother Laurel, welcome to the Information Man show, but he's not connected. Anyway, Randy, it's brother, go ahead. Go ahead, brother. It's your show.
Yeah. I want to add something that Brother George said a little while ago too. Is you got to look at society. You got to look at society. Talking about an attack. We don't really see men held in a highlight at all. We don't have men power. We have women power, right? We don't have any kind of recognition that fathers play a role in society or men play a role. It's just sort of naturally accepted that we go out and work on the bridges and work on the docks and climb the tall buildings and lay down the pavements and build and construct the houses and put out the fires and wear a badge and gun and do all of these kind of things, go off to war and all of these kind of things. This is all just assumed that this is our role in life. And then, maybe there's a comment, like you said, brother, when men give us something to submit to, we will. It's kind of like, what are you talking about? Men build the world around us. We build the world around us, literally build with our muscles and our hands and our minds. We literally build the world around us. So,
well, men have built a world that this is where the credit is. This is where the reality hits the rubber here. The world that you're living in is a world that men laid down the infrastructure, as he said, that provides safety, security, and resources to you.
That's right.
Now, see, this statement that I just said is controversial because there are some people that just won't want to groove with, won't want to hear that. But the truth is the truth. Men provide safety and security resources in the world that you live in.
That's right.
Period.
Period.
There is no but. There is no well. No, it is the facts.
The facts. And for society to then go about trying to, and there was a sister that just had that up there, for society to go on and ostracize men, feminize men, cannibalize men, castrate men, figuratively speaking. This is a shame. How can we expect to be a strong nation? And I don't know what people's level of patriotism is. I know in today's society, especially, people have all their reasons to hate America, this and that. But this is not that conversation. The conversation that we should bring to the forefront is what is men's role in providing a country for you? Men, and again, I'm not talking about the politicians. I'm not talking about that. The fancy pants. I'm not talking about the fancy pants. Okay, I'm talking about the men who have gone out and put their back into building a country for you. I'm talking about the men who have put their lives on the line to build a country for you, to build that safety and security, to do all of this. And if you look at history, and you really look at this, and I know this is going to go back a little bit, but all of this is so, you look at dynamics, the dynamics of building a nation, the dynamics of building a community. It's all for the safety and security of women and children. It's all for that. Even to the degree of war and all of these things, it's all about the safety and security of women.
Right. And let me say this. This does not mean that women have not given a contribution or have not done something in this society or have done things in this society. That's right. That has helped to build the society. Matter of fact, it is women who give birth to societies, in my opinion, because women give birth to children, to men, to young women who ultimately grow up to maintain society. So a woman's place in society is of the utmost importance. Now, I'm going to get controversial right now, and I don't care what people think of this. To the women out there, I'm telling you what's a threat to you. We have this intersectionality going on in this society. And I'm simply saying this, and I'm not going to huffer on it. I'm going to be respectful because people have the right to be with who they want to be with. But keep this in mind. Other people who have other types of lifestyles, they want the men that you want, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies. They want the men. So when so a lot of times when we talk about masculinity, you have ladies who have male friends that are gay or transgender people who their relationships with, but they have to understand this. That person is not necessarily your ally when it comes to love and relationships, because they're looking, for the most part, to get them a nice, strong, masculine individual in their bedroom as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave it right there because I don't want to.
Well, I think what's important in that statement, though, too, information man, is that the fact is that men are being attacked on all fronts. We're being attacked on all fronts, and what is acceptable today was not acceptable 20, 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And this is not to bash anybody. And like Brother Macon said, we don't have to apologize for everything. But this is sensitive topics, so I just feel like I got to preface this stuff. But we, especially conservative blacks, we don't go for the kind of stuff that we go for these days, guys. I mean, right. I'm just saying a lot of the stuff that we go for now, and I'm going to tell you this. Black men, especially, were very dignified in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and prior. Very, very dignified. And you know who else was dignified? Women, especially black women.
Right.
Very dignified. Very dignified. Right. Your grandma would not be going for some of the stuff that they be seeing in the world today. So you got to see that there is an attack on men, attack on black men especially, and what we're trying to do is what society is trying to do is break down this relationship between men and women. They're trying to break it down. Mm-hmm. They're trying to break it down so the family and the structure of a family is no longer there for the man to fill that role. That role that he is built for.
Right. Brother Randy, let me do this, Brother Randy. Stop where you are. Man, you built for YouTube, brother. No. Brother, no. I want to bring the other brothers in too, but Randy, brother, I'm telling you got magic. You're built for YouTube. I can see you with a big, huge channel. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to connect you to Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson immediately. You're built for it, brother. You're built for it. Okay. Let me get Brother Laurel. And I got to get Underrated Darkness in here, who, by the way, super chatted me. Thank you for that super chat, brother.
Thank you for the super chat.
Laurel, you came in originally first, brother. So make a few statements so I can get I want to get Brother Underrated Darkness in. I'm going to have us all talk a little bit, but go ahead, brother. Welcome to the Information Man Show. Information Man is here, brother. Come on, man. What's he got to say?
Good afternoon, brothers. It's good to see two old friends actually having a great topic right now. About 30 years in the making, the last time you saw me, I had a longer beard, so I had to start the regrowth process. But Brother Wilson, I think I want to footnote what you're saying, because I think it needs to be it needs to be defined. When you say men, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I think we need to say men of color. The reason why I say that is because we've been dealing with a good old boy system for hundreds of years. A good old boy system. A system that taught women you can't vote, taught women you can't do nothing. But then when it comes to the black man, black woman, that's a separate category. Because remember, for a period of time, we were 2/3 human. We're 2/3 of a man and 2/3 of a woman. So when I say all that, I recognize what every brother has said so far. My only thing about it is, as a father, as a man who's been in a marital situation or close to a marital situation, we have to understand that, yes, it is society. Yes, it's the media. Yes, we eat, sleep, and drink whatever they give us on a daily basis. But if we're not conscious to step outside the box every blue moon to just get a breath of fresh air and really open up that third eye that God gave us, we're not going to really see the true beauty of it is to be a black man. And a lot of these youngsters don't. And that's my point in saying that. Some of us have had to go searching what it is to be a black man, because a black man is just not a name. It's not a word. It's just many categories. Where's the mailman? Where's the police officer? Where's the role model? Where's the pastor? But us not being in the home to a certain degree, that was pretty much to some degree already made by certain powers that be, because we're strong people. We're a strong society. We make this society go. Particularly our women make the society go. But the thing about it, sisters, is that us as black men have worked our tails off, seeing our mothers, our aunts, our grandmothers, our cousins work us off just to keep that young boy alive for another day. Now you have men that are up here taking care of their Brother Wilson, Brother Clinton, so on and so forth. A chat room full of black men and women that I love seeing have to come together. And that right now, the program has been working very well for hundreds of years, and that is divide and conquer. Yeah. That has been the white man's game. That has been society's game. That has been America's game. And we are finally getting to a point where we can't divide. We can have opinions. We can differ. We can disagree in opinions, but we have to become a united front. And that's just something I just want to put my 2 cents into.
Okay.
I love the fact that you put Black Fathers Matter, because we do matter.
Well, Laurel, before I bring Brother Underrated Darkness in, let me say this. We can't sugarcoat what is the facts. And I'm telling you right now, and I have this on good, I got to get Brother Kitty on. This is a brother that has a great YouTube channel. He's been writing books. He's traveled. He's a scientist type of brother. And he said that he believes that because of what has happened to black people currently and throughout the years, that if we don't get our shit turned around within 40 years, this is his prediction, that black people are going to be one and done on an economical level. We got 40 years.
I say less. I say in 10 years. I say in 10 years. I say in 15 years. I wouldn't even get 40. 40 is too nice. We're an endangered species, gentlemen. And we're being brainwashed on so many different levels.
So Laurel, let me ask you this, brother, because you're out in the community. Come on, be honest.
Right.
When you're out there coaching in the UA sports, how many of these young black males that you come across that you're coaching or that you are mentoring or dealing with, how many of them have no father really in the picture on an intangible level? You meaning when I say black father, not just somebody that pays a check, comes around every now and then, but actually involved in their life. How many of these young men actually don't have the tangible of a father there, and that you're filling in that role? Come on.
If if I were if for the black players I do coach AAU and I do coach all over the Bay Area. For the black players I do coach, ironically, if the father's not there, the stepfather has stepped in, or if not, grandma steps in. And that, when I have to know my player's background before I coach you. I can't just say go do X and O's and walk away.
So once again, it's Big Mama who has to. Let me stop right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Finish your statement.
I don't disagree with you.
All right, finish your statement.
It is Big Mama.
Finish your statement, because I want to bring Underrated Darkness in, and this is a brother who's got some age on him and has had experience, and he lived in New York. He could tell us stories. Go right ahead.
So I deal with. Oh, go ahead. Which one? Me and him? Because I can. I mean, it's all good.
Okay, let's stop right there. We'll come back to you. Hold your thoughts. He's been waiting patiently, brother. Underrated Darkness.
Exactly.
Let me see. Unmute yourself. What's going on, brother?
Peace to everybody in the panel and the chat. What's good?
So good, brother. You've had a chance to hear a lot of what's been said today. The show featured brother Randy Wilson, which sounds like I'm going to have to bring this brother back on a regular basis, because he's on fire. He's on fire.
Yeah, he's one of the few brothers that actually advocate for us. Because I feel, before I continue, I hear brothers, they be half-assed and advocate for us. And I'm tired of shit. You say one thing, then you want to go back. No, now I gotta get out the way. I'm gonna tell you this, that the Godfathers, I'm a Godfather, I'm a community father, and there are also uncles out there has stepped up and be there. And I feel that we do not talk about these men. We make them feel that they ain't nothing. And I would like for us as brothers to talk about them. Now, there are some ones that I'm married and stuff. Okay, that's well and good. I was married to. That didn't work out or nothing, but that's another story. But we got to, we just cannot just classify certain brothers and then leave the other ones out. And for me, I'm tired of it. We in the trenches too. We in the streets too. We go to these meetings. We go to PTA meetings. We talk to the men that even there are some black men do not want to be bothered that they drive past to, and there are some black women that do not want to be bothered. Yes, it is true, because I've been through it throughout the years. Like I said, I'm a godfather. I am a second father, because my brother, my second brother, when he had his first daughter, he said, "You're gonna be the second father." So I am a father to my niece too. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. But you gotta include these brothers in, because these brothers have put in the work. Now the second thing too, it seems like every time when we created a space for black men to speak about what's going on with us, it's always a step back. It's always a pushback. No, the truth is the truth. Us as black men, no matter what class you're in, or no matter what neighborhood you're in, we do take care of our kids. And there's a small percentage that is not doing it. Yes, I do agree on that. But a majority of us, we do take care of our kids. Even if some black women do not want to be bothered with the kids. I know, because I have friends in New York that are lawyers. They trying to see their kids. They can't even see their kids for years. But when they finally get them, it's all good. It's all breaking. So that means the black men have to catch up. So let's talk about that. So if we go, this is my late father had to say. Listen, if I'm gonna cook some collard greens, I'm gonna cook the collard greens good. So we gotta stop half cooking things. And tell it as it is.
I gotta say this, because I'm no cup cape and zone. You got me cracking up here, and once again, I look. This is a polarizing show today, folks. You're going to get some shows that are not like that. He says this, and I just had to say to myself, this brother just sat up here and said, behind every thug. Oh my God. Oh God. He said behind every. Oh my God, man. Come on.
That's a real truth, though.
Hey, listen, fellas. I think we need to bring this up too, and all of the brothers here on the panel and stuff. We brought up some good points, but I just want to say this: black woman, any woman, but especially black woman, you on attack too, man. You on attack too. They got your number too. They trying to turn you out too. They trying to turn you against your own brothers. They turning you out. They got you running around too, looking, on Instagram and all over the place, showing your tits and ass and all that kind of stuff too. They got you turned out. They got you believing that you supposed to do it on your own and you don't need no man, and that's a tough burden. That's a tough burden that you gonna try to do it on your own and you don't need nobody, and you gonna raise your kid and you gonna play in the man's game. You gotta take care of the bills, got to take care of the household, you got to raise the kids, you gotta be a productive member of society, you gotta play the game, you gotta carry the monkey on your back all by yourself. Really? They got you believing that you could do all of this stuff. You superwoman. Okay. How long that's gonna last? You know what I mean? What kind of families we gonna get out of that one? Huh? How many cities we gonna build with that one? Huh? So that's another tough subject to talk about there. But just remember, you being attacked too. All the things that's you look at what a dignified woman would do. A woman dignified to raise children and be together with a man for the rest of your life. And nowadays, that's not even the objective anymore for a woman. A woman wants to have a job, not worry about children, and go try to live some kind of lifestyle that don't include the man. And you gotta understand that's an attack on you, trying to get your belief system to make you do things that are not productive for your proliferation. You see? So you gotta be mindful of that kind of thing too. Men are under attack. Hey, women are under attack too. You're not safe from this attack. That's something you got to keep in mind as well.
Right. Let me say this to everybody in the chat room, because I do this for a living. Once again, the first step in therapy or understanding situations. We got some audio issues going on here. Let me see. Can everybody hear me? Is my audio sounding okay, or is it sounding weird?
No, we hear you just fine, brother.
Okay, it's probably back sound in my headset. One of the things we have to understand is that part of healing is that we have to be able to look at ourselves when you're putting your clothes on. You look at yourself in the mirror and you say, damn, I gotta lose weight. I'm a little bit too chubby here. I'm a little too chubby there. I don't look. We have to examine what our problems are to move forward, to get to solutions. Mm-hmm. And if we keep down this road of just being in denial of some of our issues, then we're never going to achieve solutions to get ourselves past where we are today. In some cases, if what I said made any sense, I hope it made sense to some folks in the chat room. If you disagree, I don't have no problem. We're all individuals with individual experiences. Let me bring, let me see. Anybody would like to touch? Oh, we got, wait a minute. Let me just bring her in real quick. Now, sister, you've come into the Terror Dome here, being the only woman on the panel. This was really a men's show today, but listen. I got a lot of respect for Back to the Basics. Mm-hmm. What you got to say for us, sister? What are your thoughts?
Sometimes you gotta lay back.
Mm-hmm. Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What are your thoughts?
I just like to say, somebody said black woman, so I decided to drop on, and then I'm going to drop off because this is a men's show. But I will say that not all of us have drunk the Kool-Aid of feminism. I did. And I threw that shit right back up because I realized that I am pro family and I've been pro family all of my life.
Mm.
And now that my father has passed, you really think I'm really going to start turning the other direction? You done lost your damn mind.
Mm.
I don't care really what society says or what type of propaganda or what the media tries to
What you should
portray
have
the black men or black
done.
woman to be.
What she got done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't accept that. I'm going to be the black woman that I know that I plan to be, and it's not going to be and Beyonce and Cardi B and none of that shit. That I don't really care about that. They're not gonna. Nobody's gonna tell me. Nobody's gonna influence me as far as what I'm gonna be.
Right. Now, let me say this to you, back to the basics. I am in no way trying to say that black women can't be sexy or women can't be sexy and show a little sexiness. I've got no problem with that. You can do that. Social media has become sort of over exploit, right? And this might sound old fashioned what I'm going to say to you all, but I remember hearing older ladies say that you don't want to show a man everything you got. You want to leave a little bit to the imagination. And I'll be honest, there's something about a sexy woman who's intelligent, and I can tell she has a shapely body, but I don't see everything. And then I'm getting involved with her. And then what it does is it allows me to say, I can't wait to test the cookies. And I'm imagining it. And there's something romantic. There's something sexy about it. It's a fantasy that you begin to create for yourself. But when you show us everything, well, shit, you ain't gave me nothing to think about.
Yeah.
You've given, I mean, it doesn't excite me anymore because every single woman is doing it. So it's like, what's new?
Well, and you know, if I may, look at the symbols of women that women have to look to, especially in mainstream. Sister, you mentioned, the Beyoncés and Cardi B's and stuff like that. I mean, men have images. A lot of times in the black community, we have these rappers and sports players and stuff like that, and we look to that. And most of us we can't compete with that kind of stuff. There's no way. There's no way we can compete with multi-million this and multi-billion that and all of these kind of things and the lifestyles that are portrayed by these superstars of society. We can't compete with that. And on the other hand, women ideals are looked upon to mimic. See, they you can mimic the woman idols, right? You can just cut your shirt around this part and just tie a strap right here and boom, you look just like Beyonce. So it's something we have to be cognizant of, that men cannot compete with the images of the superstar men that we see in society, whereas women are being led to mimic what they see as women in society. And like what brother Info Man was saying, all we have to go on nowadays is the way they look physically on the outside, because that's all they showing. That's all we see these days. We just see they tits and ass hanging out. That's it. And so,
right.
And so how do we approach, and I can remember maybe in the 80s when a black woman would say, I want a man that recognizes me for being intelligent. What happened to that anyways? Because now it's like that doesn't exist anymore. It's like it's just a physical thing. Just look at me, please give me attention for my physical attributes. And if I can lure you, it doesn't even mean that I'm gonna sleep with you or nothing. Just the power of luring a man is a reward a lot of times for women. And then a lot of times, the man can't compete with the superstar basketball, football, rap star, but the woman has access to that through social media. A woman is going to look and display herself in the marketplace, where she can get the highest opportunities, the best opportunities, right? And so she's gonna the neighborhood is not good enough. There's not enough fish in the sea there. So she's got to look at the city. The city's not big enough. Well, social media allows women to then display themselves to the whole world and look for those that high value male that we can't compete with.
Right.
So it turns into a dynamic that is counterproductive for men and women to get together.
Right.
If I may respond to that,
Yeah,
can
go
I
ahead.
please briefly?
Yes.
Go ahead and respond. Go ahead and respond.
Well, first of all, there is hope for us. I am a millennial. I was born in 1986, and I am pro-family, and I'm old-fashioned. And for all them feminists out there, too bad. I'm coming for you. That's just how it is. You're gonna come up on my channel talking some nonsense. I'm gonna come for you. And as far as showing everything, listen, I'm locked and loaded. I was taught to be modest. My mother taught me, listen, you keep your legs closed because you have what men want. You keep your legs closed. You keep your clothes on. You behave yourself like a lady. Not some thug in the street and all this other craziness or whatever these women out here trying to take on the role of a man. I'm good with just being a black woman. I'm fine. Thank you.
All right. Let me say this. I got to bring this up because the brother right here, this is one of the brothers that follows me over from Sanchez's brother Sanchez's show. And shout out to brother Sanchez if he's been watching today or if he's out there. He made a good point here. Think about it from a deeper perspective. The problem is really our own mind, not how women dress. For instance, what about women in natural tribes who walk around naked? It does not mean that. Now, you know what? This is a very good point because in other cultures, it is very natural for women to have their breasts out, and things of that nature. No. Let me just bring this up. He brings up a good point because in other cultures where you don't have women covering their chest, it's a norm for men to see women's body and what have you, and women to see men's bodies. If you go to a place like in South America and Brazil, I've known people from Brazil, and they are not as uptight about their bodies and their sex and all that other stuff as we are as Americans, as much as we think that we're all the be all to end all. Now, where I would agree or disagree, where I do agree is that as men, because we are men, we should have the ability to control our impulses and control ourselves. But if men are being asked to control ourselves and our impulses, then women have to be held accountable for the things that they do that can solicit certain behaviors from men who are not mature and men who don't have control over their impulses because they're really not true. They're not real men. Women have to also play their role if you're asking men not to act on things through our mind. That's right. What I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say.
And I agree with you on that right there, brother, because in society today, women are almost urged to under the auspice of women freedom or empowerment or whatever to basically you have these things called like the slut walk and everything. I never understood none of that kind of stuff, but to display themselves openly in a sexual manner, but yet at the same time men are expected to restrain themselves for what is natural to them. And so men, I hate to bust the bubble on a lot of people, but men are attracted to women and their physical nature. You're not going to change that. You can get them to suppress it, but it's going to come out in some kind of way.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to come out. And so it's like you said, it's got to be a dignity of both sides, because you're not going to be able to have women do just any old thing with their body shown and emphasized, unlike other cultures. Other cultures don't emphasize these kind of things, but our culture does, but then we expect men to not respond to those triggers. And you can get deep into it, even makeup, things like makeup. Makeup is is a triggering mechanism.
Mhm.
Makeup, the way makeup is worn, I know I'm going there, but makeup has a triggering mechanism. It is the sensual lips and eyes and all this. This is to trigger the natural response of men to be attracted to them.
Right.
It's the
Well,
natural thing.
well, let me go here because I'm gonna start wrapping up the show and getting to conclusion, but I need to bring Brother Laurel in and see if he has anything he wants to add. Brother Underrated Darkness, if he has anything he wants to add or disagree with or agree with, that's fine. We're here for everyone to have open dialogue. Brother Laurel, you heard a lot that's been said, brother. As best you can, what is your verdict? What is your thoughts?
Hello?
Uh-oh, you're borking a little bit. Are you still there, Laurel? So what are your thoughts? You've heard a lot that's been said, brother. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, you're breaking up a little bit, but let me just say this. I think. Oh.
This is what I want you to do, Laurel. I need you to come back out and come back in because your screen is really fuzzy and we really can't hear you. So come out.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead. You may have to come.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Laurel, you've got to go out and come back in. I'm gonna take you out and have you come back in. Come back into the program because your screen's freezing everything. Thank you, brother. Okay. Underrated Darkness, you've been patient. You have any thoughts, whether you disagree with some things that have said or not? It's an open dialogue.
All I could say right now that us as black men, we gotta stay in our true core. We gotta advocate for ourselves. Like I always have my purpose. I do advocate for our young brothers and the boys. And that should be the part of the conversation. I don't hear it that much. That should be part of the conversation, period. And the brothers that in my age group, y'all gotta step the hell up, man. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta step the hell up, man. Yo, I don't want to hear that. Organization that you in. I don't want to hear, oh, I'm doing this and that. Get in the goddamn streets and save our young brothers and our boys. Period. And that's all I'm going to say. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, and what you said was on point because first of all, our first responsibility is to our family. If you have a son, you have a daughter, you have kids. Do what the hell you know you're supposed to do. Raise your kids, be in their life. That's I'm a fair broker here. There are some musty, crusty dudes out here who are dropping babies, are impregnating women, even though the woman makes a choice to open up her legs. But there are men out here that are having babies, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do too. And they got to be held accountable just as much as we hold ladies accountable too. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. We live in a society because we're men and there's women and they see women as the weaker sex. Whenever men F up, we are held accountable for everything that we do wrong or right. We are held accountable. If you don't pay child support, you're held accountable. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. Why did Walter Scott get shot in the back? You know why? What happened to Walter Scott? He was driving his car. The police stopped him. Matter of fact, it came to be that he owed some back child support. So because the cops stopped him, he owed back child support. The man got scared. He ran off, and that crooked police shot him in the back. He owed child support. One of the reasons why he's dead is because of the child support system that had him all wrapped up. Okay? Partially.
Okay.
Go ahead, Underrated Darkness.
No, but I'm going to say this, though. But that conversation always happened that we always hear that the black men ain't doing this, the black men ain't doing that. And there's majority of the black men do pay child support. There's majority of the black men do take on a lot of things like as myself and others. But when it comes to for the women, it's always something, oh, you did this and that. And we gotta understand how the media pay in a big way too. You hear what I'm saying? We go
Well,
if we're going to tell the truth, just tell the damn truth. But I do say to these brothers out here, you need to step up and say. But at the same time, us as older brothers, we got to be there for them too. That's what I'm saying. Thank
right,
you.
wait a minute, underrated Dark, before you go. You see on the screen the thumbnail. We've been talking about this thumbnail throughout the show. You
Mm-hmm.
said the media plays a role. Well, check this out. Rolling Stones, a
Yep.
part of the mass media, they put this ad out, this magazine cover out, and when you look at it, it tells you everything you need to know right there in center. There's no black man, and everyone
No.
around her with the symbolism of the American flag is saying, "You go, single black woman with the young black child right behind her." No black man in the picture, as if we've never protest, as if we don't say Black Lives Matter as well, as if we don't even goddamn matter. That's why I got up there in the corner, Black Fathers Matter.
Yeah,
Yes.
and if you look at this picture too, another little image that another symbolism that I see in this picture is the only real black man you see in there is the black man that was killed on the shirt. And
Yeah.
it also says, okay, because this is supposed to be something symbolizing support for this black man that was killed. Now here's a question. Now, regardless of how you think, because I got my own opinions about that whole situation, but at the same time, if you look at the symbolism that you see in that picture, you're also showing that there is no support. There's no black men that would support a cause of another black man. You see what I mean? It it
Mm-hmm.
it also says that there's no black men supporting black men. You see? And
Right.
and that's what's missing in the picture too. Instead, you have the strong black woman that seemingly is making the point that she's down for the cause of the black man, but the black men aren't down for the cause for black men.
Right. And the young man on there would represent the young man. She would represent like the single mother with a young black male who has no father. So he's leading behind his mother, following his mother's lead, following her lead, and therefore a black man is nowhere in the picture to support the death of another black man. However, it seems in this society, brother Randy, brother Underrated Darkness, and brother Dean Laurel, and back to the basics, it seems that in this society that black men's value is only when we are dead and killed, and everybody wants to march for us. But where is the value for black men when we are alive and doing the things? Laurel, you want to take off from there?
It's more of us playing basketball, shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
That's when we're valued. We're
Hmm.
valued when we wear pads, helmets. We're valued when we're selling a shoe or selling a drink. We're valued when we got the most voluptuous woman on our side
Right.
who's non-black. Okay, let's be clear on what we're saying here, fellas. Because in the long run, I'm gonna say this real clear. The blessing in disguise of being a black man is that we're all living in different environments. So we see systemic racism in different venues, but we recognize it because of how we grew up through our family. What I will say is that speaking as a brother who's been a part of the child support system, speaking as a brother who owed approximately $37,000, didn't even know it, to the mother of his child after she up jumped and took my baby to Houston. Instead of me saying, "No, I'm gonna be that real, I'm gonna be that thug." See, that's the one thing about it. It's a primal reaction when it comes to child support. You want to rip and break down. What I did was is I put myself on a plan, paid it off, put it in the black. The moment I went to the black, I snatched my kid up. When I snatched my kid up, he been with me for 3 years. She owed back child support now, and I'm not happy about it. In fact, that's disappointing because as much as I love, and I'm gonna say this straight up to the camera, for all you sisters out there who listen to Info Man, I'm gonna tell you something that you rarely hear unless your legs are open, unless you're buying something for a man, or unless you got to put on your best outfit and your best makeup, like brother Wilson said. I love you, sister. I love you for who you are. I love you for being natural, and no matter what, I love you for being a queen. Now, the one thing about that is that as I love you, I need you to respect me as a king too. Now, my crown may not be shining as high as it should, but I definitely can say that I'm a king in my own right, and I'm gonna learn how to run my kingdom with respect, whether late or never. And that's something we got to put that out there for sisters because see, the brainwashing is big because it's not just about you know us not being there. It's about other sisters influencing other sisters. It's about scorned sisters influencing sisters who haven't even been scorned. That goes in the corporate world. That goes in our daily society. That goes in life. And some sisters see that. Some sisters can read through that. Some sisters can't. But for us men, hey man, we got to stop getting into it. The problem is that every time we get conscious in the brain, it's a new novelty that's thrown at us. When hip hop was being conscious, it was all about respecting the system, respecting people, respecting other cultures. What they do, they threw a nice little fat gold chain, some more booties, some more titties, they more all that, excuse my French, all that stuff out there. And guess what? We got brainwashed again. So I tell,
Okay.
I must end it with this though, info. My whole point is all this. Brother Wilson, I'm glad to be a part of your show.
Right
Brother
on,
Info,
brother.
I love you. You know, we've known each other for over 30 years. But the bottom line is that today, as men, it's time for us to just put that first step forward like we've been doing for over 30 years. And hopefully we get at least one voice. If we get one voice to take that step forward, call his baby mama, even though they arguing, just to say, hello, son, how are you? Or daughter, how are you? Or making an effort to consciously be a part of the collective and making sure we move forward. Because I was going to add to this too, Brother Clinton. A lot of the problems that you see from some brothers
Mm-hmm.
as we get problematic, here's the
That's right.
one thing we don't practice. We don't practice the right to vote. We don't practice how to use our true power and use our voice. We talk shit. We pull out guns. We want to dress hard. We want to wear gold. We want to eat and do all that. But we lack the power of just a single vote. We lack the
Well,
power.
let
I
me
say
say
that to a
something.
lot
Let
because
me let me
I had kept my
let me
barber on. My barber
let
said he didn't even vote.
let me
Anywho,
say this to you. Let me say this to you. The power of the vote, Brother Laurel, has no power if you do not have candidates that are operating in your favor. But another problem is that the system itself is so rigged, so jacked up, that even if you find someone that's in your best interest, they have to sell themselves out. Because one thing about politics I do know is that there's no permanent friends, there's no permanent enemies, just permanent interests in politics. Now, with all,
Trust no
I'm gonna,
politician.
right. So right on, right on, right
Yeah,
on. So
trust no politician.
what I want to do right now is as the audience is starting to wind down because we've been on for a while. I want to try to end the show. Have Brother Randy Wilson say his last thoughts, but let me go ahead and do this. Back to the basics. Do you have any last thoughts that you would like to say, sister?
Hey, power to the people, and I'm gone because I'm out of my element right here. I'm gonna let y'all handle it. Then thank you for
Okay.
allowing me to be up here. God
All right.
bless. Godspeed. No, I'm going.
Yeah. Let me do this. Let me say peace to Six Figure Daves, No Cupcake Zone, Dark Charmin. Let me see. Got Natural Hair Chronicles is in the house. Natural Way is in the house. I see a lot of different people that have come in the chat room. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Let me play this for you.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
And another thing that's very important too, I have a second channel. It's a podcast channel. We do it radio style over there, late night, and it's raw. So go and check out that. You can find that channel on this channel page right now. Scroll down, click it. Make sure you hit the bell of notification. I appreciate that, everybody. Now, let me go over to Laurel. Brother Laurel, we've known each other for many, many years. We've been through we've been through the fire and back. Both grew up in a very rough neighborhood. What are your thoughts, brother? You came on strong in the end right there. But what would you like to leave with the people? Because I'm going to let Brother Randy Brother Wilson, close out the show. And I'm going to have a one-to-one with you sometime soon, brother. But what would you like to say?
First off, thank you for having me as a guest. Brother Wilson, you know I love you. Info man, you know how I feel. But my whole point is this: is I think that we all as men have an obligation and a job. We're going to continue to do that job. Real men are going to do the job. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of this platform that you've created and have given a voice and a platform for us, and just want us to all remember that we're black first. Sometimes, not black
Hmm.
first like politically, but just spiritually. We're all gonna have different opinions. You're gonna agree with me, you're not gonna agree with me. Me and Brother Wilson have had plenty of conversations where we've disagreed, but then we've also agreed. But we have to remember to love each other first. We have to remember this is our opportunity and our time to move forward, and let's just do that one step at a time. So
Okay, brother. Look. I'll be in contact with you. We'll get it going. I'll also get you on the second channel. Um, I have some topics that I'm going to be covering over there. And then what I normally do over there, based on the quality of the audio, I also port those over to the podcasting platforms. So I have a whole different situation. It's actually more fun what I'm doing over there with that channel because of how
he's not gonna have a drink on this
be,
channel, right?
because of how I'm doing it. I run it like I'm doing a radio style type program. I have people call in. I have people on the panel. I have a variety of different thumbnails, radio style thumbnails. I got the music queued up in the background. So it's a real fun type channel, but we get to real issues on that channel as well. This channel has always been a channel that's been really where I want to go with it in terms of interviewing people and things of that nature. So, Laurel, we're gonna do something very soon. I'll be in contact with you, brother. And thank you for coming on board, brother.
Thank you for having me. Hey, Brother Wilson, send it home, baby. It's your time. Send it home. Out, y'all.
All right, peace out, brother. Glad to have you. Glad that you was here too. Well, let me just say this to you, brother Randy. I'm glad that we were able to, we hadn't really talked a lot in a while. You're involved in your life. I've been involved in my life.
Yes,
And,
sir.
I have to admit, I've done a poor ass job of staying in contact with people. I talk to people on the Facebook every now and then. I got to do a better job, but
Life happens.
I'm very excited that you came on board. You definitely have a talent for this. And I think because of what you've done today, and people ain't gonna people whether they like it or not. I think I'm gonna have you come back on more often to continue this series. I think we need to continue a series of male talk.
Yeah.
And you are the perfect person that I know personally
Yeah.
for us to continue having male talk like this.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for bringing that on board. People disagree. People agree. It happens. That's life. We're not all monolithic. We all don't think
right.
alike. We all have different experiences and lifestyles. With that said, brother, bring us on home with your last words. I mean, not last words, but what are your thoughts? I don't like to say last words as if you're not going to be alive the next day, but I would hope you to be alive the next day. But bring us on home. Put a crescendo on everything, brother. Put a crescendo.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, it's an honor. It's an honor to be here. Brother Sean, Info Man is my frat brother. That means
Yeah.
we're family for life. Brother Laurel, we're family for life. And I have so much admiration for this platform and what the Infoman show is even about. The fact that this brother has come together and provided a platform and used his time and energy to as a vessel to get this kind of information out. Topics that are probably difficult and sensitive, but here we are. And I think we are capable. We are capable of conversating without it breaking down into some craziness. I think we can elevate this way. My goal and passion in life is to just elevate and rise people up. And I believe that there's plenty of room to do that. And let me just say this, guys, and this was the purpose for this whole topic today is even though it's multifaceted with all kind of ins and outs and rabbit holes that we can go into, like Info Man said, I mean, we could do a series on this and have it for the rest of the year and the next year and have a new something to go over nuances and stuff about this whole thing. But here's the message that I want to give to everybody. First of all, recognize that take responsibility yourself first. Take full responsibility for yourself, your actions, your behaviors, your whereabouts, whatever is going on in your life. It is you to take responsibility for it. Take responsibility. Don't blame it on anybody. Don't point the finger at anybody. I know we all got a long blame list. We got a blame list that goes from, it looks like Santa Claus list with all the kids, in the world. That's our blame list of all the reasons why this and that. But at the end of the day, we all have the ability to be the best we can be in any given situation. Be the best you can be in any given situation. And from there, that will resonate and proliferate positivity, change, all the kind of things we really want to see is going to have to come from our demonstration first. It doesn't come from somebody doing it for us. It doesn't come from blaming somebody else for what they did that matters to what we're doing. In any given situation, we can be the best we can possibly be, and that will evoke change in a positive direction. So take responsibility for every single aspect of your life and watch change happens. In order to get there, it's like we said at the beginning of the show, you got to be truthful first. You got to be honest and truthful with yourself, with the people around you, the people you love, the conversations that you have with people. Speak truth, seek truth, and then take responsibility for every single aspect of your life, every single one. And then we will start seeing some positive things happen out there. That's what I got to say, brother.
Well, let me say this to you. It looks like I had a chance to look over the chat room. I don't know if you realize we got a lot of people that came in here during the show. We got good numbers, and I think this video will definitely get some high numbers after the fact because I think a lot of people came in and some folks were liking what you were saying. I see brothers in there like Brother Tone is saying you should start your own channel. I also told you if you do start your own channel, I'm going to definitely have to continue bringing you back, and I got to get you connected with O'Shea Duke Jackson and some of the brothers in the Manosphere.
Yes, sir.
Because they have you have the kind of content, the kind of things you're talking about. It definitely resonates with a lot of brothers on these platforms, and you could really do a powerful. You could really create a powerful channel. Because one of the things that's often said on here is that there's not enough spaces for black men in terms of things that matter to us. Mm-hmm. So there's some brothers on YouTube that I know that I've engaged with, like Arsenian, Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson. There's a bunch of guys out there that do this type of content, and they have powerful channels, powerful following. And I think that it's something that you may consider, but once again, you have a family, so it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act, whatever you get yourself involved in, because you want to put a full commitment to it. Yes, but I think I want to continue bringing you back for more what I would call a male talk series, with Randy Wilson being the featured individual facilitating these discussions. So we'll talk more about it, see what you think with your time, your schedule. Like I said, I do most of this on the weekend, so it can always be scheduled whenever you have the time.
Absolutely.
And anything else I can help you in these areas, let me know.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming on board.
You're very welcome.
I hope it was okay that I brought a few people on that had some powerful statements they wanted to say, because they were filling the conversation. Absolutely. And it looks like that people actually enjoyed the conversation, women and men. People had their differences, but it seemed like it was a success today. So I want to thank you, brother. You were a part of that success.
You're welcome, brother. Absolutely. And just a big shout out to all of the people. I love some of the things that I'm hearing out there. And I know that, we got our different ways. I think we all want the same thing, you know what I mean? But we just might have our own little angle on how to get there. but I think we all want to see people do better, especially our Black community. That's ultimately what it's all about. So we want to see it all do better.
Brother Randy, before you go, see, people may look at you and say, "Oh, he's just talking about this." Well, wait a minute. This brother has a lot of dimensions to him. You're somewhat of a health guru. Tell people about your. You go ahead and say it, brother. You're very much into health.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm a vegan. I've been a vegan for over, I think it's been like 15 years or something like that. So I don't eat any animal products, and I've gone pretty far with that. I'm a big believer in intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, I think, will help us all live a lot longer, be a lot healthier. I have a book that I'm starting to write. I just have to kind of get on it. But I have 6 principles that everyone should follow in order for ultimate health. I'm 50 years old and I'm in the best shape of my life. I run triathlons and swim, bike, run, work out every day. And that's not to boast, but I'm just saying that.
No, you're not lying, because I had a chance to look at your Facebook page a little bit more deeply. And he's not lying, folks. And I remember when you used to upload live videos where you used to talk about, you were outside, you would talk about ways to boost your immune system, your health. You had various products that you would use in the kitchen with your loved ones. You're not lying, folks. He's not lying. He is completely legitimate when he talks about his when it comes to health. And what I want to do when you produce that book, or whenever you want to come on board and do a health show, we've got to do that, brother. We have to do that.
Yeah,
most
we can
definitely
do that. I mean, there's a whole lot of dynamics to that as well. I mean, again, another show, but that's a whole nother topic when we talk about being on attack. And like the brother was saying, we're warfare. That's a whole nother level when you're talking about the warfare of the sick business and making people sick and how come we're sick and how come we're not able to heal ourselves. How come we're so victim and so defenseless against these attacks that are so blatant that are targeting our health? How come, man? And we gotta bring this stuff out so people know the warfare that's at hand, so we can defend ourselves. That's a whole nother topic, brother. That's a whole nother topic.
Now, don't go anywhere, brother Randy. We've got no cake zone. Brother, what's up there? We're getting ready to put a crescendo on the show, but if you want to say a word or two, what's going on? And thank you for coming over to the program today. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Thank you so much, man, for having me. I just wanted to voice my opinion a little bit. I was in the chat room getting a little ratchet. I definitely admit that. But the thing about it is I was thinking about, because I used to listen to Tariq Nasheed a lot. And he used to always champion this book called the ISIS Papers. And I think the ISIS Papers is very, very relevant in today's culture, because if you look at just a relationship that we have with our own women and just the marginalization of us. And it just seems like everything that attacks us is pointed at genetic annihilation, which is the whole premise of the book. And I understand, because if you look at how society works right now, it's like the division that we have within our households is to almost ensure our annihilation. Because if you have a culture that doesn't champion the strongest, like the warrior class, which is the black man, it's not going to survive. If you feminize them, I'm not attacking gay people, but I'm just saying if you feminize the warrior class, you're almost ensuring the annihilation of our race, basically.
Well, what you're going to have is what you have on the Rolling Stones cover. You're going to have our women out on the front lines of protests and battles, taking lead, when it is men who should be the ones taking lead while protecting our families. Like, for example, I don't want to see my child or my wife or my woman out there where police officers are shooting gas on them and harming them. I don't want them out there like that. So, brother, No Cape Zone, we're going to get ready to end the program because I've been on for a while. I've lost some of the audience. People are tired. Come on back to the program because there'll be other times when I can get you on the panel. Okay. And we'll be talking about other programs. And make sure you check out the second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. We get real raw over there. So don't sleep on that channel as well. And thank you for coming on upstairs. I'll be you'll see me around. I'll be going live on here quite a bit on the weekends and things of that nature. I appreciate you coming over. And how'd you find about my channel, by the way?
Hey, actually, I was on a show, and this is probably like maybe 3 years ago. You remember there's this guy named Loadcast that he had a small podcast, and he actually had you on the show, and we chopped it up a little bit. This is a long time ago, about 3 years ago.
Okay,
Loadcast,
yeah, I love Loadcast. Yeah. Peace out to Loadcast.
Yeah, and I met you, and then I followed your channel, and I liked your content and stuff like that. So that's when I got to know your content. Okay, well, brother, it's about the content's about to get more potent. I got a lot of good stuff lined up. It's gonna get more and more potent. I'm always striving to do better. I even got some software, some new streaming software that it's gonna take a learning curve for me. I'm playing around with. I got some possible exciting things coming down the pipeline once I master this new software that I'm going to be introducing to this channel. It's going to make it look like a goddamn television show or a TV show like you see on television. No, I'm not lying. This software, this ain't an OBS system I'm going to be using. This software that I got to get my learning curve on, it's going to make my channel look like a goddamn television show, a broadcast on television. Yeah, I'm telling you. They say it's very important. You might think it might be a small change, but I just know in business, an incremental change can produce huge results. Just a small change in any type of behavior or any type of production can have a 50% increase. So you know what? Peace and love to you guys, man. I hope so. Hey, I'm gonna definitely come back on the show, man. Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest with you before you go. You killed me with that statement, man. I was about to choke on my microphone. I was like, oh my God. All right, brother. Thank you for being here. Peace out. All right, brother Randy. Once again, brother, I got to make you front and center again. Once again, thank you. He came on. I just wanted to give the brother some respect there. Anything else you want to say before I put an end to everything? Hey, brother, information show is all the way live, man. It's all the way live, man. That's all I want to say. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, hung out, and I'll put something together. I got a couple ideas to put some show together, and I'll definitely be looking at brother. He's my brother Sean, but information man. I'll be looking for his tutelage. And helping me launch something. So thank you, brother. Yeah, over here, we talk about all type of topics. So I'm looking forward to the health topic. Take care, brother. Take care. Love you. Peace to your family, everybody. That's once again, everybody. That's Randy Wilson, who was on live with me. Once again, let me thank everybody in the chat room that's come through. Let me give some kudos to everybody before I leave. We got the Ghost. Brother Ghost, man, did I make you proud, brother Ghost? Did we have a productive conversation or a productive live stream today? People gonna disagree with some things. I get it, but brother Ghost, I'm asking for your wisdom and your tutelage here. Did we do a good thing here, brother? Did we present material properly? And then we got Sincere A. Lucy. I got to get you on the platform, sister, so we can have a one-to-one at some point in time. And brother Ghost says, yes, that means a hell of a lot to me, seeing that I respect you tremendously. You are my elder. And so if I can please you in that way with making sure that the shit was right up here, then, hey, I go to sleep good tonight knowing we did a good thing. I appreciate everybody that came in. We had a large crowd over here tonight. I know we got 39 watching now. People had to leave because, it's a long ass stream. People got things to do in their day and their time. Let me see. We got Marlo's music channel. Make sure you check his channel out. Give him love. Oh, and you know what? Who I should be giving some love to is Back to the Basics.
That's right. The sister does have a YouTube channel. So check her out and give her support. She goes live sometimes. Let's get more people over there to give her, check her out. And I know it's hard to watch everybody because we're subscribed to so many people, but whenever you can, get over there. Like Sincere A. Lucy. I got to get over to her channel. You know, I haven't been over there in a minute. I got to get over there and watch what she's doing live. And then I got to give a lot of peace and love to Mrs. BT, who I met on Twitter. And I got to give her respect. The sister has been sharing my videos on Twitter, and she's come over, and I appreciate you so much for doing that. And we got Brother Tone, who's known me for some time. He's been following me for a long time as well. I appreciate you being here. And Marlo's music channel has given me a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, brother.
Thank you for the super chat.
Appreciate that again. And let me get on out of here, folks. Marlo Music Corner. We got Christine's in the house. Just a lot of good people that's come in. And Real Aaron Collins has come in. You missed a hell of a show, brother. Where have you been? And Aaron, we gotta do the radio broadcast this weekend. I don't know if I'm gonna go live tonight. I might go live Sunday and Monday. Hell, I might go live tonight just to shoot the breeze with folks. I may, but I'll be later on tonight if I do that. On the second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. Let's see. The Ghost is here. He says, "Back to the basics. I'm all good, sis." So let me get on out of here. Peace to you. And these are very important issues, folks. Very important issues. Peace to Aaron Collins for being here. And wow, this was a hell of a program today. I've got to be honest about that. I'm very proud of the conversation. And, you know, it's okay to disagree with some things. And there's some things that we were right on and some things we might have been wrong on. But you know what? We got to keep doing what we got to do. And everybody, peace to you. This is the Information Man Show.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information Man
Tell
Show.
the truth. Tell the truth.
Do you want truth?
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
If you don't want truth, this is not the channel for you.
Tell the truth.
Give everybody a clap for being here today. I love y'all.
Tell the truth.
If you want truth,
Tell the truth.
the Information Show is the place for you. Truth.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make
We're
sure
trying to examine, open up one's mind, and understand the shit that's happening in American society and around the world. Information Man Show.
Information is power. Information is power.
Jackalope preachers.
We got to ring the bell to wake the world up.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Information Man Show.
Tell the truth.
Yes. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
In the White House, I'm not gonna say his name.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
We will make America great again.
You need truth.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
That's right. Truth. This is the Information Man Show.
Information is power.